100 days until the start of the National Football League season from today. From today, 100 days until the NFL starts. Today, OTAs, about 20 teams are going to tee it up and get out there and have mandatory OTAs, organized team activities. Here we are on May 27th, teams getting ready for the upcoming season. I say this to you guys all the time. What you do now is going to benefit, and your payoff will be in September, October, November, December, obviously January, and hopefully in February. First, want to start out by doing this. I hope everyone enjoyed their freedom this past weekend. Okay? I hope you enjoyed your freedom. Be able to sit back, watch the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs, or do whatever you want. Go to the beach, go to the park. One of the greatest things about Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 4th of July is that we get to do that in our country. And it's because of our men and women. And, you know, it's a day of remembrance. The most visible beach of all time. Just remember this. The most visible beach is Omaha Beach. That's the greatest beach when you're talking about Veterans Day or Memorial Day and all them, right? Those are the greatest beaches on the planet, is the ability to be able to thank those folks who made it possible for us to have a great weekend. Freedom Weekend, baby. How you doing? Gold, too, M. Reyes. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. All super chats go to the top. I got to say this to you. I'm sorry I disagree with John McMullen and a lot of the reporters out there. I mean, I don't know about you, but in the last 10 days, the National Football League has come after the Philadelphia Eagles. First, they get destroyed in the tush push. Now, they're going after the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles have been able to manipulate the contracts because the owner has been willing to spend money, and they're going after the voidable years. I mean, they are so pissed off that Philly has an advantage money-wise. This probably pisses them off more. Okay? This pisses them off more than the tush push. But I'm sorry, man. You really think that's coincidence? How can you think that's coincidence when, let me give you the number here. So, the start of the 2025 season, the Philadelphia Eagles are projected to have the most voidable money, which is how they're able, like you guys say, Howie season. Without this, there is no Howie season. Do you understand that? Without him being able to use the voidable years, your general manager doesn't have the advantage. By taking those years away. Here, you know, it's one thing to say, well, this is a league thing, and the NFL owners want to control salaries. Okay, I probably get that. I mean, look at the quarterback salaries and the wide receiver salaries. Hell, look at even the defensive lineman. Look at Milton Williams, $26 million. Biggest number in the history of defensive line. This guy's making more annually than Tom Brady ever made in New England. So the salaries are going up. Here's what I don't like. So Dean Smith used to be the executive director of the Players Association. And the owners didn't like the old deal that Gene Upshaw cut, where it's 51-50. Or, excuse me, it was 50-49. I forget what the number was. And it had the players' advantage in TV money. So what did Jerry Jones and Bob Kraft, and at the time, the owner of the Seahawks, Paul Allen, they were pissed off because they were like, wait a minute here, this is our league. We should be benefiting more. So they ripped the CBA up, and they drew up a new one. Okay. Players had to take it in the shorts. They were able to defer more money. All of that was in favor because you know why? The NFL Players Association has no balls. They don't fight for their players. They're lapdogs for the owners. So what's going on now? Why this is a big deal? So get this. Here's the numbers. The Eagles are almost at $400 million in voidable money that helps Howie manipulate the salary cap. Without those voidable years, you're not able to sign these contracts to keep players. Especially, you will not be able to keep A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jaylen Hurts if you don't have these voidable years. The only reason that you have all that money is because of that loophole that's in the CBA. A.J. Brown will be the first casualty if the owners get their way and if the commissioner gets his way. Here, listen to this. And I'm sorry, I disagree with people who say, this isn't an Eagle thing. Well, I'm sorry, but the last 10 days, first you got your face kicked in on the tush push. Now you're going after Howie Roseman and the voidable years. Is that really coincidence? The Eagles are $390 million with voidable money, the most by any team by far, almost $200 million. More than the 49ers. Hell, even the Dallas Cowboys. Here's why you want to know why? Do you want to know why the Eagles are good? That number right there, voidable numbers. That is why you're good. Look at the Cowboys. Cowboys are sitting at $62.7 million in voidable money. Why is that? Because they back end their contracts. They don't do voidable years. Because that means you got to pay money up front. That's why they lose players every year. No matter who it is. The Cowboys don't add players. They exit players. Most teams do, though. Howie Roseman has found the Donald Trump tax law loophole on not being able to pay taxes. That's what this is the equivalent of. Not paying taxes. That's what this is. They're able to use those voided years because the owner is one of the only guys in the business that pays the money up front. Hawks, you tell me. You don't really think the NFL has it in for you guys? Okay. Get this. Yes. Look, see, this guy is such a dick. He has no idea what he's talking about. Why is the avoidable years important? Because you get to keep your players on the team by not having a large cap hit. This guy doesn't know shit. Stick to Canadian football, dude. What are you doing in America? Yeah, the voidable years are the reason that you're able to keep those players on your team. Okay? I'm on the Eagle side here. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Look at the 49ers. The 49ers have been doing a good job with those voidable years as well. I mean, I'm on your side this time. I think you're right. You found an ability to be able to take it and say, well, wait a minute. If I reward my players by giving them a nice signing bonus, and maybe I could lower the cap hits by having less annual money, I could keep the guys on the team. Look at Jaylen Hurts' cap hits. And by the way, that douchebag, LJ, he constantly brings up every single fucking year. Every year he brings up, this guy's not looking at the cap hits. Oh, now it doesn't work? Okay, douchebag. Really? Now it doesn't work, right? Oh, okay. See, it doesn't work because this guy's here just to start shit. Every year last year, what did he do? LJ said to me, he went just like this. Hey, you're not looking at the cap. You're only worried about the annual salary. Well, now the league's worried about the cap, and he's worried about what? The voidable money, the commissioner. Now, all of a sudden, that shit doesn't matter, right? Hey, dude, whatever. You had your 5 seconds of claim. Not our problem that other teams, owners want to be cheap. Absolutely true. They want to level the field. I think that's a big deal. Okay? You take those voidable years away, you can't keep that old line intact. You cannot. Dude, the key to Roseman. How about this? Let's do this. Anybody with a brain in here, do you not agree? One of the main reasons that the Eagles are so good is because the way Howie builds the team. And he builds it through the cap. I'm taking that out of LJ's game plan of a year ago, right? It's the cap. Now, all of a sudden, the cap doesn't work. Why? Because this guy just wants to be a dick. He was right all year. Now the league wants to take those voidable years away. Dude, how you doing? Which is it, dude? Either it's an issue with the cap or it's not. And the voidable years are the cap. Now, all of a sudden, today, it's not. And why they're good. Dude, if you're able to keep players on your team because you're able to manipulate the cap through the voidable years and keeping players on your team, that's the key. Not letting good players leave because you can't afford them. Now they're going after him. Think about this. That money's due. That money is due. Now, look, do I think that that's going to be implemented anytime soon? Yeah, I do. Yeah, yes, I do. Anytime it's money and anytime it's sharing of a type of revenue stream, streaming, gambling, the owners implement that stuff immediately. You know, what's crazy is the NFL Players Association, I have no idea what they do. They don't protect the players. They don't fight for the players because they don't have a backbone. Dude, you could never do this with players in baseball. I saw Saquon Barkley wanted to talk about having guaranteed contracts. Are you crazy? That's what makes the league what it is. It's not having guaranteed contracts. So that if you have a player that has a catastrophic injury, you're not tied down to that contract. You can just bail on it. Defer the money, get off it, and move on. That's what makes the NFL the league it is. That's why when people tell me all the time, hey, the National Football League cares about players. Are you crazy? Adding another game, doing it on a Thursday, and adding more international games. That sounds like you're really looking at safety. Don't give a shit about that. Think about that. The 49ers are $200 million in voidable money on contracts. The Eagles are $400 million. 6 days ago, the league was after them for the tush push. Now, all of a sudden, that's supposed to be coincidence? See, the Eagles are a threat to people that are doing business correctly. Here, let me show you what the NFL is. The NFL is a little bit like Hollywood. Okay? And I'll explain. Who's the biggest movie star in Hollywood today? Who would you say the biggest movie star in Hollywood is? Tom Cruise? The Rock? Those guys? Tom Cruise, right? Okay. those dudes that generate billions of dollars every year that they produce a movie. Those guys will never be rewarded with an Oscar or Academy Award. Why? Because Hollywood doesn't celebrate and reward winners. They handpick what they think is artistic. No wonder the shittiest movies on the planet win the Academy Award. And my comparison is this: the NFL doesn't give a shit about anything but having what? Parity. They make the rules. They don't want one team having an advantage over another team in any. Remember when the Patriots had those formation? Remember when they had those formation quirks in the system where they could bring in additional personnel? The league the next year, because it was an advantage for New England, they stopped it. They don't want any of that. Get this. Here's Hollywood. This is a great take. Eagles won't be able to sign Carter without voided years. Because get this. That means you won't be able to keep Davis or Nolan Smith or a guy like Cooper DeJean or somebody without the voidable years. Correct. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Without void years, the only way you can manipulate money is within the years of the contract. If you gave cash up front, void years lets you spread those bonuses out, and it will lower your cap hits during the contract years. Here's the definition of what this is here. Okay? I mean, there's no doubt. That's exactly what this is. Here. In the NFL, this is from the Players Association. In the NFL, voidable years on contracts are a mechanism to manipulate the salary cap by effectively deferring or spreading out the cost of the player's contract over multiple years. This allows teams to reduce immediate cap hits while ensuring that the remaining bonus money is paid in latter years, usually when the player is no longer on the team. But that's not how he does it. Eagles are wolves of the NFC street. Absolutely. Let me continue here so you understand, and you're not getting bullshit in here by people who have no idea what they're talking about. Dummy years. Voidable years are extra years added to a contract that a player's not expected to play. The fact as place kickers to distribute the cost of the contract over a long period. Okay, here. If you sign a 5-year contract, those last 2 years, the club's never expecting you to fulfill it. But they get to spread it out with those voided years, with those voidable years. If you're not on the team, they don't count. And the Eagles, what they do is they front load it with 3 years. Dude, you can't sign multiple players. Like, you would not have been able to sign Zach Bond and Saquon to those contracts, especially if you're squeezed against the cap. Let me read on. This is from the Players Association. Cap impact. By adding voidable years, a team can lower the annual cap hit for the initial years of the contract. For instance, a 3-year contract, what I just said, with 2 voidable years can have the sign-up bonus spread over 5 years, reducing the annual hit. Right there in a nutshell. That's how he does business. Sills, it's still parity. Other NFL owners just are not willing to pay that Lori does. They're still able to take advantage of the same system. Absolutely. But they have fear in paying that. Thank you, Jace. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for the super chats. This is also more about players making too much again because contracts are ballooning. Owners are in on this. It's collusion. even if void year is helping them out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to show you what you're saying, okay? Understand this. They ripped up the Gene Upshaw deal, and it was a sensational deal for the players. They didn't like it, the owners. So they shredded that. So they compromised. Now salaries are still going through the roof. They want to redo it again because gambling and streaming. Dude, the league of the business of the league is crazy great. Tom Brady's right. How in the world did revenues go up during COVID, but the salary cap fell? Do you understand that? Brady asked the question, the most important question. And once he became an owner with the Raiders, a percentage owner, and working at Fox, he stopped that narrative. How in the world did the owners generate more wealth and the player cap went down? Because you know why? The NFLPA has no balls. Here, again, this is a big deal, especially to the Eagles. When the voidable years, this is accelerated dead money. When the avoidable years are triggered, the player is technically released, and the remaining bonus money accelerates into the cap for that year. This is referred to as dead money, as it's a cap hit for a player who is no longer on the roster. That's why Howie does this, guys. He pays you a big bonus up front, and those bonuses later are lesser. So the cap hit's lesser. He has done the best job of anybody in the league at manipulating that voidable system. Because Jeffrey Lurie, to his credit, says they can't get this. He sold this to Jeffrey Lurie. Hey, you want to be able to keep players on your team and you want to have a Super Bowl window? This is how we're going to do it. You know what? Howie Roseman may go down as the greatest salary cap general manager of all time. Here's the benefits and the minuses a little bit more here on this. Let's do the drawbacks. Future cap hits, okay? The accelerated dead money in latter years can be negatively an impact on the team's cap situation in the future. Which means this, that $400 million, they take that away, Eagles got a paycheck that's due. Do you know how many players will be cut off that team? A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson. I doubt Mulata. How many years would Barkley have left? Nobody on defense. Dude, once again, get this. Bro, this guy's a fucking idiot. I'm reading from the Players Association handbook. How would he know? I'm reading from the handbook. Here's an example that the Players Association sent me. Again, that's it with that guy. Rest of the day, guy, fucking just start posting away for algorithm. Thank you. Folks, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'll give you an example that the Players Association sent me. Okay? A team might sign a player to a one. Here is Howie at his finest. A team might sign a player to a one-year deal with 3 to 4 voidable years to reduce the immediate cap hit, making the sign-in bonus more affordable. Okay? A player could be signed to a contract with a large signing bonus, and the team can add voidable years to spread the money out in a restructure. That's exactly what they do with people like Lane. They add years so that it will be a reduced cap hit. Okay? Dude, I mean, this is a big deal. And I'm going to be on the Eagle side here. Do you guys think this is coincidence? All of a sudden, the league gets their head kicked in, and they lose the tush push. Then they turn around and they go after the GM next. Okay? I mean, get this. No one's falling for shit. It just F's us keeping players on. That's right. They don't want you stockpiling players on your team with voidable years. Hey, Sue, I used to think you're full of shit on this. I think you're right. The Eagles don't have 310. They have 390. Actually, 390.4. And the next closest team has 190. Okay? I mean, guys. Here, let me throw this at you here. Do you think this is coincidence? Okay? You think this is coincidence? Right? Any team signs a player 3 years at $51 million and the guy has 2 tackles all season. Any other team feels that. Correct. Correct, but it's the way the contract is structured. No doubt. Brandon. Dude, I'm with you guys. Hey, Charlie. I just don't. I think it's not a coincidence. It's just not. Within 10 days, if they can't beat you on the field, now they're trying to beat you in the boardroom. Like I said, you have to have an owner willing to move the money to guaranteed money, paying guys out of pocket. None of the owners are willing to do that other than Jeffrey Lurie. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. It's why you're able to keep your players on the team. Hey, let me ask you something. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Thank you for the supers, too. Let me ask you this. What does Howie season mean to you? When you guys post that, and you guys post that when it's Howie SCN, what do you mean by that? Because I want to get a clarification on that. On what you guys mean when you say that. How much of that 8% sale of the team resulted in $664 million, and the timing of it was used for all these contracts and bonuses, so how he could work? It's a great take. Teams are selling equity shares. Okay? They're selling equity shares so that they can pay the dead money. No question. You tell me what you mean by Howie season. Means to me is this. This guy's going to keep guys on the team. This guy's going to cut contracts that are going to be fashionable to be able to be in place for a player to be here a long time. Look at the Devontae Smith contract. Look at the voidable years he has on that. I think there's 3 of them. Get this. I knew this would be over a guy like this dickhead's head. If you don't have the voidable years, you can't spread the money out, which means you can't compile players. Jesus. I just spelled it out for you what the Players Association said about the voidable. They want to get rid of those voidable years. What's your point? Holy shit, guy. Read a book. So this reminds me of when the NFL went after the Steelers in the 70s with the Mel Blount rule. Absolutely true. They don't want one team doing their job. Do you get this? So the Philadelphia guys, I sound like I work for the team now. I can't believe it. I mean, I sound like really like I work for the team. But they don't want you doing your job. You're doing it too well. You found a play that you took advantage of. You found a loophole in the system with avoidable years to keep players on the team. You're being penalized for doing your job. But I'll tell you this. I'll give you this. That dude's probably already come up with a new way on how to get around and circumnavigate around the salary cap. He's not going to just sit. Dude, he was probably preparing for this. Okay? He was probably preparing. Okay? This is such a closet fan, and he's finally coming out. Bro, how could you not be a fan of success? Okay? How could get this? Here's Prince. Prince, I'm not bitching about the Eagles, you fucking idiot. I'm bitching about the league coming after you. How stupid. That's just such a dumb take. Bro, I'm not complaining about the Eagles. I'm complaining about the league. Okay? Okay. Hey, Prince, hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Okay? Eagles will owe the $400 million, still have to go into NFL debt consolidation. Just get Doge in there, right? Dude, I don't think that that's any coincidence. I just don't. I think they're coming after you. They do not want you to have success. Get this. This is what you're doing. You're beating them in the draft. You're beating them in the boardroom. And you're beating them when it comes to just playing on Sundays. You imagine getting penalized like that for doing your gig? The league hates that you're smarter than everyone. Jerry Jones, get this. Let's take a look at this. Does Jerry Jones do a good job running the cap? No. Does Jerry do a decent job of drafting? Yeah. Does he do a good job of hiring? No. There's like, how many teams do what the Eagles do? Chiefs, Eagles, and who? The Rams? Who else would you give that trifecta to? Steelers haven't got the quarterback right in 5 years. Give me another team. Another team that does that. They're good in the boardroom. They're good on the field. And they're good when it comes to drafting. The Lions, okay? So here, Eagles, KC, and Detroit. Those three teams. Shit, and Detroit's new. Ravens. Those are four teams. The rest of them have a flaw. Can't draft. Man. Dude, they are pissed off at you for being this good. And get this, they don't see any end in sight. So you know what the league has to do? They have to put a roadblock up. Well, not a roadblock, but a speed bump. To make sure that you don't get too far ahead. You know why? They know you got a Jalen Carter deal coming up. He's going to use those void years. And he's going to sign a great contract. Dude, would we not agree Howie Roseman is making the rest of the NFL general managers look bad. Just take the drafting away. Just take the drafting. You know, when the new cap numbers come out, and June 1, you got to get down to 90, right? Players are being cut off of teams, not Philly. And get this, you even got Dallas Goedert to take a pay cut so that it would help the cap. Howie told him this, hey, I can't do it. We're $400 million in voidable money now. And with the league being the way it is, Dallas, you want to be here? And we want you. It's not sustainable for us. We have to make some hard decisions. We don't want to move. You know what? I got to tell you, I think they probably had a heart-to-heart with Dallas Goedert. And they told Dallas flat out, hey, dude, we're not going to draft a guy, and we're going to sign some bums. Blocking guys because we have to have a plan. They never addressed the tight end position, did they? All candidness. Do you really think the Eagles addressed? Did you think they addressed the tight end position at all? I mean, they didn't even draft the guy. They wanted him back, but they told him, hey, we got too much of a number out there, and we got too much of a mortgage on our house right now that we still owe money on. And I think Dallas said, all right, come back 1 year and let's see what happens. By the way, that's not set in stone that he's not going to be back next year. How do you know the guy goes out and has 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, and all of a sudden the passing game is fifth, and you get back to the NFC title game? There is nothing set in stone. Nothing with that organization. Here on a Tuesday, I come out and I'm defending you. And you guys are in here bitching at, some of you are bitching at me because I'm defending you. I think they are hey, I heard John McMullen say this is a league thing. Yeah, I get it. It probably is. The owners are probably like, hey, we got to keep these salaries down. Here, let me throw this at you here. Baker Mayfield's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. What would you pay Baker Mayfield? What has he done the last 2 years? I'm going to show you what. And remember something. Kirk Cousins got $45 million or $48 million, and he was 36 years old. And Baker's nowhere near that. What do you think a guy like that at the end of the year is going to command? Here, Baker Mayfield. I mean, his $100 million deal over 3 years is a steal. 49ers are just the red Cowboys. How you doing? Here's Baker. By the way, this is Baker Mayfield. And he makes $30 million now. And here's the numbers that he's put up since he's been in Tampa, which is incredible. 4,044, 28 touchdowns, 9 picks. This past season, 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns, 71 completion percentage. With over 570 attempts. This guy's thrown for 8,500 yards in 2 years. And this year, if you add it, this guy may throw for 12,000 yards in 3 years with over 100 touchdowns. What do you think he's going to command on the open market? $55 million? $55 million? Right? That guy's going to command. They don't want those salaries. Look at Geno Smith and Sam Darnold's numbers. Look at Brock Purdy. Yeah. Look at Brock Purdy's number. $53 million. I like Brock Purdy, but wow. You make him one of the top 6 players in the league? Man. You're paying exceptional money to very good players. Right? You're paying exceptional money to players who you look at and go, man, those guys are really good. And when people want to tell me, well, Sills, it's the wave of the NFL, and well, NFL owners aren't going to cut that deal. They're not going to cut that deal like that. Remember, sharks swim with guppies for a reason, and owners are sharks. They're smart for a reason. They don't want 3-1, 2-1 in return. They want 7-1. And get this, you're going to get the votes for this. You know why? Because not everybody's David Tepper. Not everybody's Shaq Khan or Ziggy up in Minnesota or Stan Kroenke or Jerry Jones. Not everybody's that rich. Even Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson can't run a football team to save his life. However, he is the president and CEO and owner of Johnson & Johnson. This guy's got big money. So, but there's only a handful of those guys. The rest of the owners are the Mike Browns, the Packers. You think the Packers want the Eagles to have voidable years? Hell no. The Green Bay Packers do not. You know how you know when the league's doing well? What's the only company in the NFL that you know what teams are kind of doing? It's the Packers. Why? Because they're a publicly held company. And their numbers have to be divulged to the public because of shareholders. There's a board of directors. That's the only team. Do you guys remember, what was that? The United Way. I don't know if you guys remember this. Years ago, I'd say about 7 years ago, the National Football League, was a nonprofit. It was a nonprofit because the money went through the United Way. Well, the government stopped that. So then they became a private company where they don't have to divulge their books, tell you what their deals are. But there's only one company that doesn't fall under that. That's the Green Bay Packers. So you get kind of a sense. Now, Green Bay is the smallest sports city in America. There's no other city in America smaller than Green Bay. But they generate a shitload of money living in Green Bay. It's the only way you know what they're kind of doing per team. Because most of that stuff is not out there for the public. All right. Anyway, dude, make no mistake about it. I think the National Football League has got it in for the Eagles. That's my take. I just don't think the league doesn't do anything by coincidence. Goodell feels portrayed by some owners. And get this. I wonder if Jeffrey Lurie's attitude in that meeting pissed off Roger Goodell. I mean, guys were in there. Like Jed York was telling Jeffrey Lurie, wrap this thing up. Wrap it up. Jerry knows. See, Jerry can't and doesn't want to pay the players like the Eagles do. This comes down to this. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are not cheap. They may not pay you top dollar, but they're going to pay you. If they feel you're a part of the success of the team, or the other one, if they feel they can live without you, Hassan Reddick, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they felt they could live without them. It wasn't, in fact, whether they wanted them or not. They felt they could live without them. Fair? Huss, you're in the wrong league. If you think fair, there's nothing fair about the NFL. There's nothing fair about it. I don't give a shit. Dude, they hate your winning. Why do you think the NFL went out of their way during the Belichick dynasty to do whatever they possibly could over the dumbest shit? Really? Deflategate? You got to be kidding me. Deflategate had no impact whatsoever on the success of the Patriots. Why? Well, they won 2 more, 3 more after it. How stupid can you be? Or Spygate. Teams have been doing that forever. Jimmy Johnson was one of the greatest at that. They would get copies of the network, local network, and the local network would tape sideline. And Jimmy would get the tapes, and they would start looking at signals going back and forth. It's like stealing signs in baseball. So stupid. What you think? You don't think Al Davis, every time the Chargers back in the day when they had Kellen Winslow and those damn Fouts guys, he turned the sprinklers on at the Oakland Coliseum to flood the field. People do gamesman. Why do you think Belichick was a key guy in this? They would shut off one of the sideline headsets. NFL implemented a rule the next year going, well, if one sideline's out, they're all out. That's because Bill did that. Dude, I think that's great. Any advantage. Hey, one of the things that Sean McDermott had changed, this is the dumbest thing on the planet. So when the Patriots were warming up and they did their warm-ups, they'd go into the locker room. Do you know what the Patriots would do? They'd send their cheerleader chicks out and they would be like warming up and shit in front of the Bills. Sean McDermott said, get the hell out of here. Any kind of stupid thing. It's like, it's a fact. I mean, it's part of sports. Is that good for the sport? Shouldn't we try to move the game away from things that create an unfair advantage? I like games. Hey, dude, if I can find an advantage and I'm smarter than you and you want to penalize me because I do a better job than you in drafting and my owner does a better job at paying, I don't think the Eagles are doing anything out of hand. I'm sorry. Bill Walsh did that shit. Absolutely. Read his book. Read that book, Genius. He would do that shit all the time. Here, you tell me this. If you think that this is gamesmanship, how many times have you seen this? A player gets cut, and prior to a team having a big game versus that team that cut that player, they'll sign that player to a practice squad or sign that player to an active 53-man roster. You think they're signing that guy because he's going to help the team? He is. He's going to know what their game plan was, and he's going to hopefully, he has a playbook. And they bring the playbook and they dissect it. That's why not turning in your playbook when you get cut is a $25,000 fine. I mean, because teams would cut a guy, guys would keep the playbook, and they give the playbook. Like if you got cut from the Eagles and the Cowboys were going to play you next, Cowboys would sign that guy. Jimmy would sign that guy, and he would hope he had a playbook or a game plan. You'd give it to Juan Statter, you'd give it to North Turner. That shit goes on all the time. Any kind of notes you took? Hey, what are they trying to do on 3rd and 7? You know, when they're in this formation, this blue formation, and they're on the outside of the field, what do they like to do? What's their tendencies? And you'll sit down with the D coordinator or the offensive coordinator, and you'll go over what they like to do and what the formations are. And are there any keys? What's the audibles? How many times do you think teams have to change audibles? when shit like that goes down. That stuff was notorious. It's called gamesmanship. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you guys. Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30 also. And we appreciate you. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Please hit the like button. All right. So today starts OTAs. Most important areas of the team heading into OTAs that I want to have some type of answer on. What's the biggest concern heading into these OTAs if you're an Eagle fan? What's the biggest concern that you have? Give me 3 of them. I'll sit here all day with them. What would be the 3 biggest deals that you have something? RC3, I like yours. I'm just going to write names down. Riding the bench. Love that. Riding the bench. RC3. Ringo. Okay. That's Jason. Okay. Biggest concerns. Bob Brown. Okay. Corner. Okay. Let's do this. Here's I wrote down about 9. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you guys coming aboard here on a Tuesday. Hopefully everybody had a great Memorial Day. What's Sidney Brown? Who is he? How many people in here think Sidney Brown's a good ball player? I'll give you my assessment of him in a second. How many people think Sidney Brown's a good ball player? If you did, you wouldn't be talking Justin Simmons. Okay? How many people think he's good? Good special teamer. Shows flashes, but needs to stay healthy. Okay? He's okay. Here's my opinion of him. I think Sidney Brown looks like he shows ability that he's a ball hawk. He can hit. I think he over pursues. I don't think he's had enough reps. I really can't get a sense of what he is yet. He's got to be a healthier player. All the things that were on his draft card have pretty much panned out. Over pursues, injury prone, too erratic, not a great tackler. He's a great hitter, but he's not a very good tackler. Okay? Who is he? Is this kid Andrew Makuba from Texas going to beat him out? I don't know who he is. Keeping perspective, you can't have a dynasty with some kind of controversy surrounding the team, although maybe a reach, but I sense the league is on notice. Just my thoughts, Sills. Great show. Thank you, Big Marshall. I think they're after you, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm not a coincidence guy. Not for people that move around the room the way the NFL does. I think the National Football League, I mean, they hated that they got beat in that tush push. Now they're going after the thing that builds your roster. They can't handle it. Dude, I've never seen a team. Get this. The Eagles The league is jealous of you doing your job. All the things that they put out there for everyone else, 95% of the league can't do the job the Eagles do. And how many years removed from a 4-win team are you? 5? You're 5 years removed from winning 4 games, is it? And 5 years ago, you won 4 games. And you've been to 2 Super Bowls, could have won both of them. And you're $22 million under the cap? Dude, there's no way they're digging that. How many years did they come up with shit for New England? I'm going to make a comment here, and you tell me if you agree. You're the modern-day Patriots. They're going to come up with shit. My God, let me say this to you. I wouldn't want to be on Hard Knocks. I don't want them to know anything about me. Man, I wouldn't show them shit for that NFC East in season thing. I wouldn't show shit to those people. I would give them nothing because they're going to make something out of nothing like they did with New England. Deflategate. Are you kidding me? It's the dumbest shit. You know, Howard Eskin thinks that deflating footballs were the reason that the Patriots went undefeated and won 7 Super Bowls. It's so stupid. 6. So stupid. Dumb. Had no bearing on it. Guy likes, hey, I know quarterbacks. Hey, I'll tell you flat out. Nick Sirianni manipulated footballs. I saw him do it. You want me to tell you? So when he was the wide receiver coach and then the quarterback coach and then the wide receiver coach, do you know what he used to do? They used to break open the new footballs over at Murphy Canyon where the Chargers used to practice. And I watched him scuff the footballs up on the turf or on a sidewalk. I watched him. I saw them doing that because you know how the footballs come out of the box and they've got like a gloss on them? Rivers wanted the ball roughed up a bit. So do you know what Nick Sirianni and some of the offensive coaches would do? They would take and the equipment guys, they would, including Phillip, they would hit the cement, the ball would bounce back up, and they scuffed it. I said it on the air. Like, hey, you know, he likes to scuff football. He doesn't, you know, he goes, and I asked him on the air, why do you do that? He goes, you know, the football, when they come out of the box, you know, you don't get a good grip on them. It's not cheating. I mean, it's not cheating. Dude, that's right. That went on for 1,000 years in the NFL. You scuff the foot. Hey, you ever buy a new pair of shoes? And you scuff the bottoms of the shoes so you don't slip? That's exactly what that is. You know, you see your wife buy a pair of heels? She scuffs the heels up so she doesn't fall. That's exactly what that football feels like. People did that forever. It's not nothing new. Stupid shit. Being dumb. Okay? Yeah, hey, absolutely. Here's Bob. Guys, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. Seals, adding to what Big Marshall says, I don't think it's as much the organization. I think it's us, the fan base. The organization is clean as there can be. The fan base is the issue. Look, you, the Bills, Patriots, Steelers, Packers, Niners, Bucks. It's a great fan. Baltimore. Those are great fan bases. Lose their shit over stuff. Okay? Why do you think they infuriate? Get this. The Cowboys sell. The Eagles, they get infuriated. And that sells. Here, I wrote down this. I wrote the 10 most important people in the NFL. I'll get back to my OTA stuff here in a second. But my 10 most important football players this year. Mahomes, number one. Look at the primetime games. It's the Chiefs. Number two, 10 most important players to the league. It's Dak. He's number two. By the way, these aren't the best players. These are the most important players. This is like, I'm a casting director. Why is Dak important? Because whether Dak sucks or he's good, it's content. Nobody cares. It's about content. Once again, you're going to cloud it and make it more about, you're saying Dak's a great. No. I'm talking about an important television guy this year for the NFL's 2025 ratings wars that they like to go on. Sills, a reason they have tickets so high because they don't want the crazy Eagle fans like us attending the game. Oh, they've priced you way out of the game, Kyle. Okay? Get this. I'm not telling you Dak's the second best quarterback in the league. I'm telling you he may be even more important than Patrick Mahomes. He's on the Cowboys, which are the number one watched television team and number one television show in America. Case closed. The NFL wants the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to level the playing field in the NFC East for the Cowboys. Let me ask you something that's really important. Who do you think the NFL and Park Avenue want in Santa Clara this coming year? You think they want the Eagles in the Super Bowl, or do you think they want the Cowboys in the Super Bowl? I want the Cowboys. So are you saying that no, I'm not saying that. Cowboys are nowhere near as good as you. If the Dallas Cowboys went to the Super Bowl, you'd have 175 million people watch that thing. That's why Dak's important. Get this. Great, I know. I know. Get this. They don't want Bills and Niners. They want Dak and the Bills. Number 3. I got Saquon Barkley. 10 most important players to the league this year. Barkley, face of the Eagles. Absolutely. Guy who died in New York. Can he put another 2K together? What if that guy's rolling around 1,900 yards? And that guy puts another 2K. What a great storyline. Hey, New York, you let down a Hall of Fame player, and you may have been detrimental to that guy making it to Canton, Ohio. But we're going to put his ass in anyway. Number 4, I got Josh Allen. These are the 10 most important players to the league. Okay? Northern New York. Allen, MVP. He's white. All of that. Buffalo's never won. I mean, the league loves this guy. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. This could be the greatest athlete ever to play the position in NFL history. I'd say there's only one other guy that has the athleticism that Lamar Jackson has. That's John Elway. It's John Elway. Again, get this. This guy doesn't get it. I'm not talking about who's better. I'm talking about who sells television views and ratings. Dude, the ratings are a completely different conversation than who's the best team or best player in the league. This guy doesn't want to hear it. Cowboys are more valuable on TV than the Eagles are. There's a reason they're the number one franchise in the world. Okay? Okay. Hey, this is a storyline. Absolutely. And just so you know, do I think the Cowboys are in your room talent-wise? Hell no. Absolutely not. I got Jaylen Hurts number 6 on this list. The 10 most important NFL players. I got Hurts 6. Why? You know, is he really that good? Have you ever seen anything like this? Is that guy really that good? People ask me that all the time for a guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Is he that good? Or is he not? Is he a system guy? Who is he? Do you know what? Does anybody in here know what Pro Football Focus ranked Jaylen Hurts? Do you guys know what they ranked for his performance last year? When it came to the top 100 players, do you know where Pro Football Focus ranked him? Got any idea? Get this. Look at this guy. Yeah, you wish. Try 91. Try 91. The top 100 players. He was 91. I mean, that's why you have, and I have him 6th. And I'm going like, dude. Okay? Yeah, no, I know. I know it was 2 different I got it. You're right. I was looking at how they ranked the top 100 players. Okay? They had him 91. Do I think Jaylen Hurts is 91 when it comes to the best players in the sport? Absolutely not. That guy's a top 20 player. But it's compelling. You know, he wins the Super Bowl MVP. I'm sorry, but he's one of the more compelling guys I'm looking forward to watching in 25. I want to see what it is. If he can continue to build his resume. I like that storyline. For me, I think that's a big storyline. Okay? I got Joe Burrow at number 7. Dude, Joe Burrow, as good a quarterback as he is everything that Tom Brady was when he played. Field vision, great decision-making, all of that. Unfortunately, let me show you something about the difference between Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. What's the difference in those? Can you guys tell me what the difference with those 2 players are? When I see Tom Brady, I see Joe Burrow. And when I see Joe Burrow, I see Tom Brady. What is the one glaring difference between those 2 players? What is the glaring difference? Organization. Organization. Absolutely. It's where he was drafted. Joe Burrow's not winning in Cincinnati. Why would you think that? No matter what he does in Cincinnati, he'll never win a Super Bowl. Feels he got the one. Ken Anderson got the one. Boomer Esiason got the one. They'll never win. They'll never win. Why? Who the frig is Zach Taylor? Who is that? If you had Joe Burrow, wouldn't you have made it a priority to sign Jim Harbaugh and put the best coach I could possibly put around that guy to utilize even defensively? I would have brought the best people I possibly could have brought in for him. Okay? Yeah, almost. So did Ken Anderson and so did Boomer. Almost won a Super Bowl. Okay? He almost did. He will never win a Super Bowl in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, until the Browns sell the team, will never win when that ownership. Let me ask you this. Do you actually believe that the Bidwells will ever win a Super Bowl? There's shitty ownership. Woody Johnson will never win a Super Bowl as the owner of the New York Jets. Bank it. I mean, it's false hope. They don't do the right things. It's not the fault of Joe. It's where he was picked. If Brady had gone to Cincinnati, Tom Brady would have never have succeeded in his NFL career, ever. You know why? He had too many things around him that he didn't have the supports. You have to have a great support system upstairs and in personnel. I just got through telling you why the NFL hates the Eagles. Sills, this is a reach, but mark this down as a bold prediction. In 26, Burrow will want to be traded. I think he lands in Pittsburgh. Joe Burrow in Pittsburgh would win 4 Super Bowls. Joe Burrow in San Francisco would win 4. Joe Burrow in Philly would win 4. Any place that's got the dynamic of Joe Burrow in New England would win 4. That's right. See this, Daz? If I'm Joe Burrow, I give that organization 2 more years and then I'm out. I get $55, $65 million anywhere in the league. I want out. You know, I said this on my Tampa show this morning, and I'll give this to you. One of the cool things that LeBron James brought to sports is the mobility factor. Hey, if an organization's not being solid by you and doing the right thing by building a football team around you, having the ability to be mobile and leave because you don't want to waste your talent and you don't want to stay in one spot, that's a LeBron James thing. And I love that. Holding an organization accountable. That's what Brady did when he moved down to Tampa. They didn't want to keep building anymore. They were running out of gas. Brady felt they were running out of gas, and he was right. And he left. He felt he had another Super Bowl in him. He goes to a ready-made team. Tom Brady was the cherry on top of the Buccaneer cake. And he delivered another Super Bowl. It's one of the greatest moves of all time. We see it doesn't work. We saw Russell Wilson try it in Denver. We've seen Aaron Rodgers try it in New York. The only other guy that really could have the success was Stafford. That's not a given. But why did it work for Stafford? Sean Payton, Les Snead, Kevin Demoff, and Stan Kroenke. Why is Baker Mayfield playing so well in Tampa? The Glazers, Jason Light, and Todd Bowles. Same shit you got going on, but better in Philly. Okay? Work for Manning. Yeah, Pat Bowlen. He was alive then. And Pat Bowlen had a great organization. John Elway was part of it. Absolutely. Tom Brady goes to the Jets. You really think that guy's winning? Never happened. Never happened. Guys, 83, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys. 83 likes. Let's get it up, see if we can get to 200 today. I appreciate you guys. I want to go back again to the – oh, wait, let me finish this. I got Jaden Daniels at number 8. Nation's capital? Holy shit. Let me say this to you, man. If the nation's capital gets a football team and the great folks and the great fan base of the Washington Redskins / Commanders plus the nation's capital, dude, that is so important to the NFL. That's one of the more important franchises. That's why it really blew my doors off that they allowed that jackass Daniel Snyder to own that team for all those years. It's one of the most important. Look at the corridor. Ravens, Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Patriots, all up 95. Look at that. Right? All up 95. Look at those organizations. Eagles, Ravens, right? How can the Commanders suck? Commanders now went to an NFC title game. Then you have New England all up and down 95. That's good shit, man, for the league. Why? Because that's where the population of the United States is. More people live off of 95 than any place in the country. Do you know that? That's why it's important for that entire corridor to have good football teams. Okay? Get this. You're missing the conversation. Once again, these are important players for TV and for the league and for storylines. Get this. How can the Dallas Cowboys, you guys bring it up all the time, how can the Dallas Cowboys have 4 wins in 30 years and still outdraw you when it comes to ratings? How's that possible? Why are they always on national TV when they haven't done shit? Can you imagine if they did? So what? It's not the conversation. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody's talking about your boy. I'm talking about storylines in the NFL this year and players that are must-see in what they're going to do in the storyline for the league. Nobody cares. Great. And get this, once again, he's not even the most important person in his own huddle. And again, I'm not going down that lane. Number 9, I got Justin Herbert. Why is Justin Herbert important? Bob, why don't you tell him? Why is Justin Herbert important to the NFL? Why would you think? Why would you think Justin Herbert's important to the league and to TV and storylines this year? Why would you think? Why would you think that they're important? These are the 10 most important players this year to watch into the league. Why is it important? There it is, Bob. Quarterbacks out west stink. There's just no storyline. And you got an old man Stafford. It's important for Los Angeles football and TV ratings. You think Stan Kroenke moved that team from St. Louis to LA for what? Why do you think he moved it? Exposure. Increase in value of the franchise. Same reason why the Spanos has moved the Chargers from San Diego to Los Angeles. You move a business from Philly to New York City, value of your business goes up. And that's how the NFL looks at it. That's right. Get this. They moved the NFL network from New Jersey to Los Angeles for a reason. Hollywood. I mean, that's why they did it. Number 10, I got Brock Purdy, 49ers. There's not very many good teams in California or out west. There's just not good teams. I mean, who's been the best team in the last 50 years on the West Coast, NFL-wise? It's been the Niners. The Niners are important. Okay? That's right. Dude, that's right, Forrest. That's the conversation we're having right now. Okay? And the Seahawks, too. But, dude, it's California. And now it's Vegas with the Raiders. The 10 most important players, in my opinion, for the league this year. Mahomes 1, Dak 2, Barkley 3, Josh Allen 4, Lamar 5, Hurts 6, Joe Burrow 7, Jaden Daniels 8, Justin Herbert 9, and Brock Purdy 10. Those are the guys that are going to move the needle. Who else would move the needle? Justin Fields? Who else? What? Kyler Murray? Stroud's not going to move a needle. Houston? I got Dak for that in the middle of America. Hey, get this. We're not talking about better players. You're missing it. We're not talking about better players. We're talking about better stories. Stroud's not a story. He's on a better team. The Texans are better. We're not having that conversation. You missed the whole thing. Again, Brandon, Stroud's a better player. He's by far a better player. I'll take him over Dak any day. That's not the convo. Bo Nix, Denver, no interest. Out west, I mean, shit, the best player out west that I care about quarterback-wise is Justin Herbert. Is he going to do it or not? That's why they're paying him, too. Again, like I said, Dak's the second most important player to the NFL. Sills, are you saying he's the second best? No. No, I'm not. It's a different conversation. Dude, if the NFL, I want you guys to think about something. Okay? Listen to this. Sills has Purdy in the top 10. You don't even know what my top 10 is because you're such an ignorant guy with that take. You missed the whole point. Look at this. If the league was debating to take the tush push away, which was bad optics for television, I believe, Xander, it's bad optics. They're going to look at players that move the needle ratings-wise. Primetime games, flexing players. It's a different convo. Sills, Hurts is better than Dak. No one's debating this. Missing the point. These are players that are important. Jared Goff's not important Dude, Detroit's a non-important market. Nobody gives a shit about Detroit. When have they ever? Last year, they were good and no one cared. No, Washington was a better story a year ago than Detroit, was it not? What do you think got more visibility? Detroit or Washington? Washington was a better story. Detroit wasn't. Detroit, when I turn Detroit on, I'm bored. When I tune on Washington and I see Jayden Daniels playing, I'm entertained. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, what hype did Detroit have? And then the fact that he went up there and kicked the shit out of him made it even a bigger story. Get this. Dad says that team was so overrated. Yeah, well, that quarterback wasn't. Okay? Okay. Once again, I don't give a shit about watching a Detroit Lions game. I cared about watching Washington. Take a look at the ratings. Those Washington games got enormous numbers. Look at the NFC title game. It was the third most watched television game of any game last year and any TV show. Come on, man. You guys just don't like, like I said, stop acting like a victim. I heard that on Birds today. Stop acting like a victim. Anytime one of your boys isn't mentioned, it's unbecoming, stupid. So let me get back to OTAs. We'll get Xander up here in a minute, too. And we'll ask him these questions. I want to walk back on it now. Dude, Sidney Brown, let me go back. These are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 10. Today they open up OTAs. I think I heard John say they don't have the media out there today. I think it's tomorrow they're going to get a chance to take a look at it. I'm going to make this proclamation. In the next 4 years, you're not going to be able to have beat reporters any longer covering the team. They're going to have people within the organization covering the team. The John McMullins of those guys and people that cover teams will become extinct. Why? Well, because they want control of the content. They want control of the narrative. They don't want anybody writing anything that's not going to be conducive to selling the product. Remember, they're $1 billion business. Can't have reporters sitting there writing op-ed columns when they see a quarterback not playing well. Even if the team sucks, they don't want to hear it. The league is about selling their product and products, hats, jerseys, experiences at ball games. Okay? Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. Bro, I can't believe I started my show off where I'm a honk for the Eagles. Like Bob Lang hired me. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait because I'm gonna ask Xander these questions here. Basically, yes, men. Oh yeah, guys like John McMullen in 2 years, they'll not be able to go over to those facilities. Or what they'll have is when the press conferences come, they'll be able to go to the press conferences when players and coaches. And maybe after games, they may still allow that. Or they may not allow you in the locker room any longer. They may allow you when they get to the press conferences after. Take a look at where the media is today. Okay? Look what you can and can't do today. Look what the internet has done to newspapers. It's ended over 75% of the newspapers in our country. the internet. I mean, and the league knows that. It used to be where you could plop down, do a radio show live from Valley Ranch in Dallas or in PA when the Eagles are in training camp or over at NovaCare. You can't do that shit anymore. The league doesn't allow the accessibility. They want to control the narrative. Because, get this, they don't want people. See, guys like me, they don't want guys like me that have an opinion on their team. They want people to have ESP's opinion, giving you stats of a practice and throwing the football in practice where Jaylen Hurts looks like he's the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. That's all they want to hear. They don't want to hear that shit. All right. Hey, man, my boy Xander. So he gets these two beat writers on. And I got to tell you, I'm sorry, but me? So wait, within the last 10 days, the owner of the team beat the shit out of every owner up in Minneapolis. Did he not? I think he did. Hey, sit down. He's like, no, I'm not. They sent Jason Kelsey in, and the commissioner of the NFL gets his ass put in place by Jeffrey Lurie. You guys win the tush-push argument, at least for a year. Then, 5 days later, this starts eking out. Well, Sills, did you see what they're doing on the voidable years now? Like I said, before I get Xander up here, here's an example. One example on why Howie Roseman is king. A team might sign a player to a one-year deal. Gee, who's that sound like? And then after that, add 3 voidable years like Zach Bond to reduce the immediate cap hit, making the signing more affordable. That's Howie Roseman in a nutshell. You take those voidable years away. You know who you're signing? You're signing Jalen Carter and nobody else. That's a big deal. Oh, I know. So wait a minute. The Eagles have $400 million owed on that with voidable, and the next closest team has 200. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's, hey, look at that. Let's bring in Xander here. By the way, got to give him his dues here, man. Absolutely awesome. My boy, Big C, Xander Kraus joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Dude, you don't think this is coincidence, do you, man?
No.
Come on.
I think you made a really compelling case for it to not be coincidence when you show everything that's going on with it. And it makes sense. I mean, I don't know. Where John makes a good point is like, is it just they're trying to bring everybody back to the pack?
Yes.
You know, and the Eagles are just kind of in the crosshairs because they're so good. Now, they are – I don't think it's because they hate the Eagles. I just think they want to clump everybody up again.
That's
you know?
right. Parity.
Yeah. So I could see that. But you know, so if you give 10 people an advantage, right, and one guy figures out how to use the advantage better than everybody else, and then you take away that advantage, it hurts the team or the guy or the team, in this case, the team that capitalizes on it the most. It hurts them the most. So, yeah, it's tough for the Birds. This is a big hit. This is a lot bigger than the tush push.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And my point is this, Xander. So my point is, wait a minute here. It's one thing, Xander, if like the differences were like 200 million to, I don't know, 240 million. You know what I'm saying? This is 400 million to 200 million.
Yeah, they're double the second. Who's the second?
49ers. 49ers are second at 204. The Eagles are almost 200 million in voidable contracts and voidable years. How is that not taken? When you said that this morning, and John goes, it's not a league thing. I mean, it's not an Eagle hate thing. And I agree to that. And I agree to what you just said. They like parity, man. I call it mediocrity sometimes. They do not want a team to get further ahead, and they do not want a team to be able to use loopholes It's like they found a loophole in the tax code and how he's utilizing it to the best of his ability.
Yeah.
Again,
How much do you think this affects? I think this affects him a lot. Like, because John was saying today, well, they're still the best evaluating team. And my point, I was trying to get the point across of, but you can't evaluate that many good players. Like, for example, if they implemented this rule and they got rid of void years, would you have AJ, Devontae, Saquon,
No.
Jaylen, top four of the best offensive linemen in the league, and Dallas Goedert? No way. So like their evaluation is going to be significantly hindered as well because they're not going to have as much room to bring in all the talent that they brought into this point.
You can't keep them. Is where you're going. That old line will be cut in half. You'll have to determine.
Well, they're already.
You'll have to determine. Do you want to keep Landon, or do you want to keep Cam Jordan?
No, see, I still think the Eagles would prioritize the O-line. I think it's going to be Goddard gone, AJ gone, Devontae Smith. You need to be wide receiver 1 and 2.
You're still going to have to exit guys without voidable years.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, but I don't know when this could come into effect. I think because this would be technically, would this be through the CBA? I think John said it would be through the CBA,
it has to,
which could essentially, as you pointed out earlier in the show, could essentially be ripped up at any time and renegotiated.
Can I tell you where the owners are going to negotiate this? I think this goes into play next year, which means it could affect the Jalen Carter deal. Do you know what they're going to do? Here's what the owners, I'm being told, are going to offer the players. They're going to give you more money when it comes to streaming and gambling and payouts for players in revenue. And for them to be able to go in and manipulate the voidable years, that's how the players are going to make more money when it comes to their contracts because of the new revenue coming in. Remember, they're going to dangle. They're going to dangle more games. And I heard you say something too.
Yeah, but what's the advantage for the players? If you're going to say more games, you're going to get rid of
the gambling and
I'm talking about for the players in the CBA.
Yeah, for the players will benefit on the stream. The players
the teams are benefiting from that.
Oh, wait, the salary cap is based off of TV.
So you're saying the cap is going to go up, contracts are going to go up. So I guess is there no real hit to the players from void years being removed? No, right? That's just more of an organizational problem.
Correct. And what the owners are trying to do with that is it controls the salaries.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to spend. You're not going to be able to like Howie's not going to be able to go, well, let me sign this guy for 40. Let me sign this guy for 40. Let me sign that guy for 40. Howie would just look at those last 3 years and make them stupid years. And he would spread the money out and he would give you that bag of money up front. Those cap hits, like Hurts' deal.
So this hurts Howie. This hurts Howie in the front office and potentially Jeffrey, because if he's going to want to keep as many people around, he's going to have to give even more money up front than he already does.
And for whatever it's penalizing people doing their job, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're trying to even the playing field, like we talked about at the start. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are so far ahead of everybody with this. And, John brought up a good point, too. Lurie just deserves credit because, I mean, he's not the richest owner out there. There's Stan Kroenke could do this. He could do this to the tune of $600 million. Yes, the Jacksonville guy. All of them could. David Tepper, right? Another good one. There's a bunch of them that could do this. Now, when you're talking about the Bengals and some of those other teams, they're not going to be able to do it nearly as much. Yeah.
Nashville, shit like that. Right. So OTAs, I got 10 questions here. Well, let me ask you, who's Sidney Brown?
A backup.
Wow.
Back up to Andrew Makuba.
So would that be a failure pick at 3? A third rounder?
Well, you're getting good special teams. It's not a home run pick, that's for sure. But if you get competent special teams play for 4 years, now he wasn't full 4 years because he was injured. But yeah, I mean, they clearly didn't they? Isn't this evaluation already been made? Technically,
I think so.
Unless they let Reed Blankenship walk and it becomes Sidney Brown Makuba, which I don't think is likely, but it's certainly not impossible. then I would say, yeah, it's probably a little bit of a, but I wouldn't call it a bust.
How about
All right?
Yale's word? Disappointing.
I'm good with Yale's word. I would agree with Yale. Disappointing.
You know
But
what?
I mean, look, he's only 2-year player, right? He could still, I mean, he could have a better 2 years. Most third round picks don't hit until year 3. Look
I
at
got
Milton.
it.
Like if we judge Milton after year 2, we'd be like, that
No,
was
I
a
got
fail
it.
too. So you got to give him some time. I just don't see, like, I think Makuba's going to be your day one starter. I think he's going to get the first team reps from the start. I don't think they're even thinking that it's going to be Sidney Brown. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be Makuba. And I think Makuba's going to be good, by the way. I was watching some more of his tape. He's going to be good in coverage, Sills. He might not make as many plays as CJ Gardner-Johnson, but I think he could be as good in coverage as CJ Gardner-Johnson by like middle of the year. Like he's a pretty good coverage player. Now, he's not going to make interceptions and stuff as much probably, but I think he could be good in coverage. Remember, last year, one of our worst coverage guys in the backfield was CJ Gardner-Johnson. He got beat a lot. So I think that could be good for Makuba. But Brown, I don't see how he gets on the field this year.
I agree with Senor. I mean, a special teams guy being a third
You
rounder.
agree with Senor? What? Let me see what he said, because that's rare.
Senor. I think Senor's right, man. I mean, a special teams guy, a third rounder, dude, man. I mean, I'm not there on that. I mean, you're talking. I'll tell you where though. Don't you feel better? By the way, all supers will be read at the end. Don't you agree with this though? Well, Sidney may not have panned out, maybe a little disappointing now, but Reed Blankenship being a UDFA has totally panned out. And doesn't that kind of cover that?
Oh, yeah. Just like Mailata, dude. Remember, in the same draft, Sills, we took Andre Dillard in the first round and Jordan Mailata in the 7th. Does anybody care that we missed on Andre Dillard?
No.
Right? You landed on one of the best left tackles in football. Just got it at a different round. So as long as it all works, when the picks really hurt is when you need a player, you draft a player, you're counting on a player to develop, and then they don't develop and your team suffers because of it. So they got contingencies though at most spots. That's what I think Smile Munden is. As much as people like Trotter Jr. and Nakobe Dean, take your pick. If Nakobe goes down, he's been down 3 of 3 years. So he's shooting 100% from the field and not finishing a season. Trotter or Munden if he works out. They get insurance. They seem to get insurance at most places.
Hedge their bets. That's one of my
a little bit.
That's one of my
and that's where John's right, by the way, Sills, where their evaluation's been so good in recent years that whether their main pick hit or their hedge pick hit, they hit.
Yeah, that's right. No question about
look at last year's defense, man. It was a crazy combination of that was not a built like the offense and where you assembled a bunch of all-stars and got a lot out of it. That was way different.
Absolutely. Let me go to this one here. Do you think there's a role for Will Shipley in the passing game?
Very minimal.
Is there a role for him anywhere?
Like, to me, it's very minimal. To me, it's even more minimal than what Kenny Gainwell was last year. Like, I don't see him playing. I don't know how much Kenny Gainwell played last year, by the way. I don't know what his percentage of snaps was last year, but I don't see it being very big for Will Shipley. I mean, when Saquon Barkley takes a 60-yarder and you see him when he sometimes wheezes on the sideline, that's when Will Shipley is going to be in the game. Outside of that, I don't see when he's going to be on the field outside of that.
I just don't know what his role is.
I don't either. It's a good question.
I don't.
What are any of those roles?
The player.
I think AJ Dillon has, if he's healthy and if he can make it to the season, I think he serves more of a purpose for this team than a guy like, Will Shipley does.
Okay, tell me this. This year, Jordan Davis's role will be what? Same as a year ago? More? Less? You lose Milton Williams. What are you expecting out of him here? This is the 13th pick, and I'm sorry to keep bringing that up, but it is a factor that you just lost Milton. I already know what I'm getting with Jalen Carter, and I know I'm going to continue to see that guy get better. But doesn't Jordan Davis have to pick some roll up here, some of the weight by the 2D linemen being like exited off the team? Like, what are you looking at this year with him and that player's role?
All right, let me ask you this. If I asked you to forget about the 13th pick for just a
Okay.
second,
All right.
and you know what he contributed to the team last year. I'm not talking about future projections or any of those things. What he contributed last year. Would you pay $13 million for that?
And I was number one in
Would
defense.
you pay $13 million for what Jordan Davis brought to that defense last year?
I would, in the context of having all those guys of a year ago and what his role was. He was a role player, dude.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was not
100%, yeah.
he was not a fixture on that defense. I mean, when you're a first and second down, you're a role player.
Yeah,
Just like
I
when
agree
you
with
have
you.
when you have a pass rusher. So my problem with that is, okay, you're paying a $13 million role player. I mean, that's a lot of money for a guy. Now, look, he was instrumental in the run defense. It was important, and it is important. But, man, I'm paying a lot of money for role players. Bryce Huff, this guy, these are one-dimensional ball players.
Remember we did that ranking of the defense, the top 11, like who was most important to the defense?
Yeah.
Where would you put Jordan Davis in that?
He's got to be one of the most complex players to talk about because he is important. If you're going to have a defense and be the number one defense, you got to stop the run. You proved one thing a year ago. You don't need a prolific pass rusher, but you need a great run stopper. So his importance to me can fluctuate anywhere from on defense of the 11 guys, 5 or 6 in the middle, somewhere in there.
Am I frozen or am I back, by the way?
No, you're here.
I'm good. All right. I was frozen out for a second. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because still the secondary is not as good if he's not up there stopping the run.
Not.
Right. So that's why he's such a tough value. Everything about Jordan Davis, the player, the money, the impact, everything is a tough evaluation. It's not so clear cut. Like Jalen Carter, like anchor of the defense, top defensive tackle in football, get out the checkbook. With Jordan, you're like, all right, he's probably worth more than 10, but is he worth 15? Is he worth 12? Is he worth 13? How good's our defense without him? All of those questions come up with him. So I think it's tough. My expectation, though, to answer your original question for him this year, is to be a really good version of what he was last year. I'm not coming into the season expecting him to be a pass rusher. I don't think that's a realistic expectation going into, what is he going into, year 4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, year 4 is you're there now. You know, I mean, you're getting close to veteran. What is veteran in the NFL? 5 years?
3 years.
Is that
3
what it
years?
is? 3 years?
Yeah, you got to play 3 years into your Actually, it's 3 years into your 4th year. You have to play 3 games this year, and he'll be a vested ball player. He's coming into a vested year. Xander, do you know what the average years are for an NFL ball player? It's 3 years. Why? Because NFL makes a decision on you whether or not they're going to vest you. That's why the average NFL career is 3 years.
What's the vest? 4 years?
It's 3 years, and in your 4th year, 3 games.
3 games, right.
Into your 4th year, then you become a vested ball player.
Chris is saying, how about the amazing shape he came to camp in? I didn't see that. Was there a picture of him today or something?
Yeah, but that's irrelevant to me, man. That
was a big issue with him, though, because
but I thought he was in great shape last year.
He was in much better shape last year. He was a contributor in the playoffs, man. He had a couple sacks, I think, in the playoffs.
Actually, if you want to go to last year, I thought his best part of his year was the final 3 games of the regular season and into the playoffs. I thought that's where he earned his money, Xander. He earned his money the last 3 regular season games that he played, and he earned himself in the playoffs. I mean, I thought he was in much better shape. Dude, this is a skill set thing. This is not about shape because Vic's going to keep his ass in shape. All right, let me move to this one.
Oh, wait, by the way, you remember last week when I asked you who was going to be the next Philly star after BJ, and you said Cooper DeJean?
Yeah.
Apparently, Cooper DeJean was ripping the Jersey Shore this weekend at all the bars and the beach bars and stuff, all the honeys racked up around him. I'm like, Sileo might be right. Cooper DeJean is taking on the stardom, baby.
Great White Hope, man. There he is. All right.
He was in Ocean City.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What's Ben Van Simmeren or Ben Van McMullen? Is he really going to have a big role? I mean, are they really going to go fullback this year? Which means they're going to take the third wideout out of the offense. Are they going to go more power I type stuff this year? Do you think that guy's role is going to be big, or do you think it's going to be smaller? How do you look at that role of a fullback? Because even Jeffrey Lurie a couple months ago was saying, hey, John Ritchie, I think you're going to be very happy that you're going to see the emergence of the fullback again. Do you think this is going to be a big play inside this organization this year, especially offensively, where you're going to see a fullback a lot of times in games?
I think it's possible. I mean, even Sills, even based on the way the owner's talking, right? Like the owner's now gotten behind all of this bully ball football mentality. So hey, maybe it's something they'll end up doing this year. I feel like not really, because I mean, listen, Sills, you're paying all this money to wide receivers. Now you're gonna line up in the I formation with a fullback, dude. I don't think so. So maybe in very 5 to 10%, maybe. I don't even think that much, but I think they could use it, and I think he'll be used for the tush push or whatever this year's version of it is. I like Van Sumeren though. He's athletic, dude. He's an interesting ball player, kind of one of those do everything guys, but isn't really great at one thing. I'm interested in seeing what he does, but they keep him around every year. So is it Ben Van McMullen or is it like Ben Van Roseman? Because Howie loves him too.
Hey, dude, also too, Nick likes him.
Yeah, Nick does like him. Nick likes everybody though. I mean, come on.
He does. All right. So who's Keely Ringo?
That's a good question. Starter?
I don't know.
I think he's a promising young prospect right now, but that's it. Right? I'm not gonna say that he's gonna be good, but I do think he's got promise. Like I think he has, as you always say, potential, which is a bad word. I agree. But I do think he has it. I think he has that potential to be that. I mean, again, we always talk about this. Anybody who ever watched him in the SEC, he was a great cornerback. So physical. Now, how will his game fare at the NFL level? I don't know. The other thing is Isaiah Rodgers played above him last year. Now, John said that's because Isaiah is more versatile and it just fit the role better. But I think that shows you that Vic Fangio thought Isaiah Rodgers was better than him. So unproven, good potential, young prospect. That's what Keely Ringo is.
I just got a text message from somebody at the Bucks. How something Reddick missed his first OTA.
Yeah, I saw that. That was on Twitter today.
Oh,
yeah, but does that matter? They're all voluntary. They're not mandatory.
Where in the hell do you live? Dude, you think how many times you think Nick Saban had hey, you know what?
Yeah, but it's different, man. Dude, this is a different world now, man.
Okay,
this
let's use Bill Belichick.
A different world from Bill Belichick. And that dude's being, whipped around on a string and a ball and chain by some young chick. Like I'm not really.
It's one thing though. It's one thing to like be a veteran guy on a team that you've been there forever. It's another guy when you haven't even lined up with these guys yet and done any kind of practicing whatsoever. I don't know, man. And especially coming off of his history of last year.
I'm happy we got rid of him.
Maybe now, you know what? It's starting to make sense why they didn't like him.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy they got rid of him, but I don't really think it means that he's going to like walk on Tampa.
No,
I just think he's a prima donna. I mean, he's a major prima donna.
Okay.
And if you grew up around here, Philly prima donnas are different. He grew up around here. I think he grew up in Camden and then he went to college at Temple for at least a couple of years. So yeah, he's a Philly prima donna. Those are different than those Southern prima donnas, all right, that you constantly refer to.
Okay. John Campbell, when can we expect, or when do you feel, or do you not feel, does he make an impact on the team? What will his, I mean, right now you don't know what the thing is. I mean, you have no idea. It's all on paper and a chalkboard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really going to have any kind of way of looking at him. I see people in here putting Campbell 2027. I mean, bro, I mean, that's a first round pick.
2027, that's 3 years out.
No, not 20. Yeah, not
Yeah, 26.
26.
Here's what I think. This is my gut feeling on Campbell, and I have no idea if I'm going to be anywhere close to correct, but I think year one is going to be really underwhelming, like for the whole year. I don't think there's going to be a carved out role for him because he might return too late in the year to switch the whole defense around. If Jacoby Dean's healthy by that point, where is he lining up? Does he just become a rotational edge rusher late in the year? I think year one is going to be really underwhelming, but I think long term, he's going to become the best piece of the Vic Fangio defense, just in that he's so versatile. Vic can use him in so many different ways, and his skill set is so, wide. I think he's going to be one of the better players on defense, but I don't think it's going to be year one. I think it's going to take a little bit for sure here. I don't think because like Sills, like I just said, even if he comes back week 9, by that point, Nakobe Dean's definitely healthy. All right. You probably already have a good idea of your edge rusher situation. Now, maybe you need a good edge, so maybe he gets a lot of playing time there. Or Jaylen Hunt looks better, or, whoever Azeez Ojulari slotted into that role. Who knows? But I just don't see him getting on the field that much right now, rookie year.
Do you agree that the Eagles winning the Super Bowl and where they picked at 31, they moved up from 32 to 31, and he gets a redshirt year, and that the only reason that he gets that redshirt year is because, again, here's a guy that was projected to be a 15th pick in the NFL draft. You got a guy down at 31. I completely think this guy's going to be a really good football player. I love him when he was at Alabama, the things he did. I'll tell you this, the things he did at Alabama, I think he's better than the guy Campbell that the Detroit Lions drafted in the first round
Jack
3 years
Campbell,
ago.
yeah,
I think he's better than him.
They're different. They're much different players.
I think the kid Campbell's more versatile.
Yeah, the Eagles Campbell. Yeah, I agree with that. But I just don't know. I mean, look, Jack Campbell in Detroit has proven it at the NFL level. I don't know if Jack.
Really good.
Yeah, he's really good. So I don't know if Jack. Remember that draft, by the way? Everybody, the Detroit Lions in that draft were written about the days after that draft like the losers of the draft, because they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. Yep. And then Jack Campbell at 18, and everyone was like, why did you do that? Both of those players were a big part of the reason that they were a great team last year. So, yeah, interesting how it all shapes out. But now he's a good player. I don't know. Jihad right now is a little confusing to me, Sills. And I think Nakobe Dean's gunning to be back, man. He knows. He's not dumb, dude. He sees the writing on the wall. He's like, dude, they got linebackers everywhere, man. If I don't get back healthy, I will not get back on the field. And then I'll be looking for a minimum contract just to get on the field somewhere after this year. He knows even if he doesn't stay in Philly, he's got to play this year for the Eagles. Nakobe Dean knows that. I think he's working his ass off to get back.
Let me ask you something here. Do you think there's any chance during OTAs and training camp we see Cooper DeJean out there at the corner?
Yeah, I think there's a big chance. There's a big chance. If Vic Fangio feels like the hole at corner is too big to overcome and he can make up for it at slot, and it's done. He's out. He's going right out there.
He's going out there. He's going to look at Sidney Brown and he's going to look at Makuba. And if both of those players look great in camp, why wouldn't you drop one of those guys into the nickel and then put him out wide, Cooper?
It's a big ass, though, right?
What's that?
I mean, that's a pretty big ass, just considering.
Yeah, but I'm going by John telling me they evaluated him first and initially as a corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a slot corner.
But that was, remember, evaluation from the draft guys is a lot different than Vic Fangio. Like, he proved that. I mean, Howie didn't sign Zach Bond to be what Zach Bond was last year. So Vic Fangio now has a different say on it. So I don't know. Maybe his long-term plans are like, I'm not moving this guy. Are you crazy? Look at him. He's the best slot corner in football. Why would I move him? Maybe that's his take. His take could also be, yeah, that secondary is brutal. Post Slay, post Gardner Johnson. We better get him over there. Maybe. I like Cooper DeJean as an outside corner. I think he'd be a great one. I really do. But do you think are they going more toward Cooper DeJean, if Jihad Campbell pans out, you got Zach Bond, are you Nolan Smith smaller, Jaylen Hunt? Are they getting more guys that are kind of not as they're more positionless players. Yeah, interchangeable positionless players. I'm wondering what the defense
that's what
is
your
going to look like.
defense was filled with a year ago. You had a bunch of really good athletes on your football team a year ago.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see.
See, to me, I do this. If Keely Ringo is not cutting it, and I don't think that guy is going to be the dude, and I guarantee you, aren't you doing this if you're Nick Sirianni and Vic Fangio? Aren't you having Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown work that dude out in OTAs and in minicamp and in training camp? Aren't you working though? Because you're not going to play against two better players anywhere in the NFL on a consistent and weekly basis than those guys. This is the great thing that he has on evaluating. Because don't you think he can look at his corners now and go, that dude's not cutting it, man? I mean, do I have to put Adoree Jackson, a guy who was waived by the Giants, out there? Or do I put Cooper DeJean and Adoree Jackson out there?
What about Eli Ricks? Dude, that dude's having a hell of an offseason.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how you evaluate that position.
Stills, you know how it goes. Some dudes who, sometimes, if you thrive elsewhere, you thrive in everything. I'm just wondering. Eli Ricks had a good offseason. Maybe he's going to come in and be ready to lock down CB2.
Oh man, yeah. One thing I do agree with Jeff Kerr. If I hear anybody telling me how great somebody looked during OTAs, I'm with you. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah.
Jeff and John, they were like Grinch and Scrooge this morning. Those two dudes.
Great.
I'm like, oh my God, you two.
I was laughing so fucking hard, man.
I'm like, dude, I bet you guys are showing misery. Like they're miserable, man, about their jobs. I'm like, relax, folks.
Let me tell you this, man. I'm promising you. I'm promising you, man, that those dudes, when they go out there and they see those guys playing in there, you hear people going, oh my God, what a great practice. You got to be kidding. You can get good work during these OTAs and you can see whether a guy's a good backpedaler, but they are right about one thing. You're not going to see these guys until they get into a football game in the exhibition season. Let me get to another one here. So we talked about Sidney Brown, and you called him a good player, but a backup. Well, will Tyler Steen win the right guard spot? And if he doesn't, there's another third rounder that you have to say, as great as Stoutland is, he couldn't have an impact on Tyler Steen. This is the second year in a row. If he doesn't win it now, do we not agree, Xander? I mean, we're looking at a whole different ball game here with him being a backup guard.
I think it's Pryor. I think it's going to be Matt Pryor.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't see it with Tyler Steen, bro. Alabama kid too, so I want to like him, but I just don't see it. He wasn't great last year when he came. Wasn't awful, but I just don't think he's good enough. I think he's a reserve guy. That's what I think he is. I don't think he's meant to be a starter in the league, and I think Matt Pryor, Jeff Stoutland's just going to see that experience and be like, hey, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with that right there. So I don't think Tyler Steen will be the starter, but I do think he's going to get the first reps. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. But that would be kind of a little bit of a letdown as a pick. He was drafted. Yeah, but he was drafted, I think, like pretty high in the third round, right?
Yeah, he was a high third round
65th pick. Overall pick, dude. That was the third very beginning of the third round. I think that's the first pick of the third round. And think about this. Andrew Makuba was drafted with the last pick in the second round at 64 overall. So Tyler Steen is closer to where Makuba was drafted than where like Milton Williams or Jalix Hunt was drafted in the 90s and the hundreds. So, he's been a little bit of a letdown, but we'll see. I mean, I think he's going to have a chance to win it. And, the best part about right guard for all Philadelphia fans, I think most Philadelphia fans believe this, is they're confident that Jeff Stoutland's going to make the right move. And they got so many guys there still. There's like 8 dudes, man, battling for that spot. I feel like we're going to be fine at right guard, whether he wins it or not.
Finally here with this, what rookie do you think out of this rookie class will have the biggest impact on the team?
What was that?
what rookie that was drafted do you think has the biggest impact for Vic or anyone, even offensive line, the guys that were drafted late? Who has the biggest impact off this rookie class?
So the default answer has got to be Makuba, because I think Makuba is going to be your starting safety. So it's going to be Makuba. But I think a sleeper is Ty Robinson, where if Morojomo doesn't make a step up, I think Morojomo is going to make a step up. But you do need defensive linemen right now. So I think Ty Robinson could come in there. And if Ty Robinson is versatile, Sills, does that change what the organization thinks about keeping Jordan Davis? I don't know. I don't think Ty Robinson serves that role, but he's a feisty dude. Maybe he can stop the run better as a pass rushing, a Milton Williams type of pass rusher who can stop the run a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe that gives you a little bit more versatility on the D line, because obviously, Vic Fangio would like to stop the run with 4-man front, but hasn't run that as much. So that's going to be interesting. I think he's the sleeper. And everybody else, I don't see them getting.
I like the linebacker from
Munden,
Georgia.
He's a good one. That would be my third if I went to a third.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna beat Trotter out, and I think he's gonna be your starter in the opening of the season. If Nakobe's not ready,
now, this is actually a decent sleeper, McWilliams, because he's more of a slot. And you just mentioned it. Hey, what if we don't like, the outside corners? They kick Cooper DeJean out, and all of a sudden they're like, Keely Ringo ain't playing slot. Maybe Eli Ricks could. I don't see that. He's a longer dude. He's not really slot build. Mac McWilliams is a slot. So, hey, maybe he's a good sleeper pick.
Let me ask you one last one here. If Nakobe Dean is able to get on the field and he's able to play, he has a good season, but he gets banged up again. I'm not saying loses significant time, but he loses like a game or two. How are you looking at him? What does he have to do to remain a Philadelphia Eagle and get a contract extension? And what will that look like? Do you think they're out on him now? Or do you think they're looking at him as a guy where they can't? I mean, they're moving off of Goddard because of injuries. They're not moving off him because he sucks. They're moving off him because of money. So when you look at Nakobe, he has 100 tackles again. Right. He's banged up. He misses some games. He's in and out of the lineup. Is there anything he could do to get a contract extension this year?
I think he's in a tough spot. That's why I brought up him trying to get back, because it's very unlikely that he has a future in Philly. But if he doesn't hit the field this year, he's going to have a tough time on the open market as well, with all those injuries. So I don't see it, though. I mean, Sills, hear me out. If he has an unbelievable season, all right, and he makes the linebacker core the best in the NFL alongside Zach Bond, are they going to pay him near top market money? Zach Bond's under contract now. There's no way. And if he stinks, the answer's already answered. And if he gets hurt again, unless he would take if he hits the open market and nobody wants to pay him, and you can bring him back for $3.5 million, maybe.
Way. No way.
$5 million? $5 million?
Bro, I think that guy's going to
listen to my scenario. If he plays great, he's gone because he's going to get paid. If he stinks, he's going to the open market. If he gets hurt, go again. All right, he's been hurt 3 years. Gets hurt again, and he goes into the open market and he's not getting good money. Could he just return to the Eagles for $4 or $5 million?
3-year contract, $15 million, something like that. At 5,
maybe 2 years, 12 mil, 6 million.
Yeah, 2 years, because you don't want to insult the kid too bad. That's right. What you do, like 12 million,
right? Like
12 million over 2 years.
But he's not going to get paid.
No, unless he had. I'll tell you what. How much? If he had played the way he played a year ago, and he was a free agent right now, how much money would you pay him, or would you not pay him? Would you let him go into his final year without a contract? If right now, would you let him go into this final year without a contract? That's kind of what they're doing now.
I'd let
he had a great year.
They opted to pay Bond, though.
Agreed.
They're not going to pay both. Especially now they're getting rid of void years, Sills. We got to pick your poison nowadays, brother.
Yeah, there's no question about it here. Hey, by the way, how about this one here? Then we'll get to the supers. Guys, hit the like button. I wrote down the 10 most important players this coming season in the NFL. And this doesn't mean the best players. I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about storylines. I got Mahomes 1. I got Dak 2. I want to know if he's going to suck or be decent. Cowboys are always a storyline. Highest rated team in NFL history, Dallas Cowboys. Is Hurts better? Of course. That's not the comment here. I think he's a storyline. You told me they're getting Dak back. They should be better. I think that's a storyline, Xander. Number 3, I got Barkley. Does that guy really go for 2K again? I want to know if that guy is going to carry the mail for the Eagles, because if that guy gets close, Xander, to 2,000 yards, that dude's going to be the MVP this year. You can't go 3,900 yards and go like this. I'm sorry, man. You know, that's a quarterback award.
I happen to agree with that.
Josh Allen, number 4. Hey, dude, you going to do it or not? Get the easiest schedule of any team that I see that has a shot to get to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
I got that question on Lamar Jackson bigger than I have it on Josh Allen.
Okay, he's 5. I want to know, get this. He might be the greatest athlete ever to play the position of quarterback since John Elway. Well, dude, you know, you got to hang a Lombardi trophy.
Dude, and he's got a good team around him.
The dude in Philly's lapping you.
And Lamar has a good team, a good system, a good GM, everything.
And they improved the defense.
Dude, they got a bunch of dudes on defense over there.
Yep, absolutely. I got Jaylen Hurts number 6. And here's why. I want to know this year, have you ever seen anything like this? Here's a conversation. Well, who is he? Oh, shit. He's been to
You're right. Yeah.
It's 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Okay. He had the 30th ranked passing offense. And every year he's played in Philly, he's been a different Jaylen Hurts. That's a story to me. I want to know what version of Jaylen Hurts this year we're going to see. Is it going to be a new and a different Jaylen Hurts? Every year he's played since 2001 has been completely different. Nothing has remotely looked close. He has not had one consistent. And again, I'm not talking about him not having success here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about, do we not agree? It's 4 different Jaylen Hurtses.
It is. It is. It has been. And I think that's a good thing, because I think he's needed to be a chameleon as a quarterback for the team based on what each game, what each season, what each, version of the Eagles has called for. And he's been able to meet the moment. So I think it's a good thing, but I think it's a very fair question to say, what's he going to be this year? Is it going to be another new version, a 5th version, or is it going to be one of the previous 4 years that we've seen? I'm not sure. My guess would be a hybrid of 23 and 24. Last year, he did a lot of handing off to Barkley, and there was a lot of run game stuff. I think that's going to stay, but I do think he's going to pass the ball a little bit more this year. The efficiency was good last year. I think the amount of attempts will go up this year, and that's my guess. But honestly, it'd be a better guess to just say I think it's going to be a 5th version of him.
Number 7, I got Joe Burrow, because I would say this if I was Joe Burrow. Bro, I mean, Cincinnati, you're either going to help me win something here, and I mean a Super Bowl. Still, he got there. Boomer Esiason and Ken Anderson in the past of the Bengal history have gotten to a Super Bowl. Are you going to get to a Super Bowl and win it, Joe Burrow? You're the closest thing to Tom Brady. Because I'll tell you something, Xander. This year in 25, if I'm Joe Burrow and I don't see my team get out of the gate strong, or I'm 0-4 again, or 0-3, or whatever the hell they were a year ago, and I'm fighting to be 500, I want out.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't want to end my career in a place where I had never a shot to win.
He doesn't have a shot to win there. It doesn't matter what he does.
I agree.
They had one chance. They had one chance. They made it to the Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines you've ever seen perform in a Super Bowl, and they didn't win. And after that day, when they walked out of that arena, I don't think they ever had a chance to go back.
No.
And I don't think they're going to go back. I do not think he's like Brady, like you. I think he's close physically, Doesn't have the mentality, in my opinion. Doesn't stand in the pocket and deliver the ball in certain moments when the pressure's on. I think he bails much quicker than Brady did. Brady had to throw the ball. He's great, though. He's a great player, but he's in Cincinnati. I mean, he's not winning there, dude. No way.
Tom Brady's not winning in Cincinnati either. He's
not.
I
agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
And if Burrow were in New England, he'd win there because they know how to build an organization around an arm. See, it's totally where you go. If you have the dynamic of Howie, owner, and coaching and decision-making, you're going to go far. Here's number 8 for me, Jayden Daniels. Dude, people said he had the greatest rookie season of all time in NFL history. Okay. You carried the team, put it on your back. You went up to Detroit and smoked them. What's your encore? Okay, where are we going here? How have you elevated your game?
He set the bar high, man. Like, think about it. Remember, we talked about this. It'd be one thing if he took the Commanders to a 9-win team last year, and you were like, all right, great job. Took that organization around. What's your next step? He took them to 11 wins or 12 wins in the NFC title game. Like, it's going to be hard to do that again in that organization. It is. I mean, think about it. You just talked to me about Joe Burrow, and I'm not saying the Commanders are close to them right now. I think they've operated much better with the new ownership. But that dude is pretty damn good, and he won, 8 games last year?
Yeah.
So that whole team has to continue to elevate, and I don't know if that whole team is ready to do it. I'm saying he goes backwards this year.
It's a great point about Jaylen elevating his game.
Right.
At 9, I got Justin Herbert. I mean, dude, I think he's a big storyline. I mean, are you elevating your game? When Jaylen elevated his wins. He had, whatever that means, the result is that Hurts has elevated the wins. Okay? He had a better 22 Super Bowl than he did this past Super Bowl, and he was the MVP, but he still upped his game.
Every time. I mean, look, when the lights are bright, Sills, we talked about that. Would you rather, as great as it is to watch a quarterback throw for 4,500 or 5,000 yards, if they throw 3 picks and can't play in the playoffs, what's the point?
Or they can't win 3 in a row. They can't win 3 games in a row.
What's the point? So you gotta have a guy that can answer in the playoffs. Justin Herbert has never done that. Last year, how many picks did he have last year in the playoffs?
He didn't have a lot because I don't think he had a lot of volume of throws. They
ran
ran the ball. I think they were 3rd in rushing. Let's get to some of these supers before G Cobb.
Yeah, we got G Cobb coming up here.
And we'll talk
Jason,
to G
18 checks in. What's up, Jason? He says, I have a feeling Ringo starts at cornerback 2 and Cooper stays in the slot, but the Eagles will pay him whatever. They were obsessed with him in the draft, and he's a positionless player. Eagles pay whoever they want. I think he's right. They're going to pay Cooper DeJean. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kyle Kokorski says, why does Makuba remind me of Honey Badger?
Huh. That's a pretty good comparison.
Makuba reminds me of Gardner Johnson.
Is he as big?
He does. No, but I just mean he's a physical player.
Attitude?
He's an in-your-face attitude. Not the same level, but I mean, he hits you like that. He talks like that. And I think he's got better coverage ability. So I don't know. The thought of Makuba replacing Gardner Johnson is still a pipe dream, but I think he could be comparable in coverage, probably not from playmaking ability yet. Ben says, no matter what, they can't change anything until 2030. I don't think that's true.
That's not true, Ben. They had a CBA a couple of years ago that Gene Upshaw had, and
I think he's talking about the TV deal too, Sills. But you're right. They can rip it up, and there's opt-outs on all of the TV agreements.
Let me say this to you, and I love G Cobb, and he knows how much me and him are still to this day NFLPA guys. The NFL Players Association has no balls. They will never fight the owners. Upshaw had a great deal lined up, and if they void those remaining deals on what makes Howie able to manipulate the cap, that's destructive to what the Eagles are doing and how they built that team. They can rip that bitch up anytime they want because the owners don't respect the NFLPA.
Yep. Rod on the bench says, I might be I might be dense, but can either of you explain how void years work on the cap or refer where someone gets info on it? I missed the boat here about it. They're confusing. I will say that.
Okay. Like I said, one thing that when we're talking about how the cap works, again, what owners will like to do or what general managers will do, they will void and add remaining years onto a contract at the back end of it. And those are the voidable years so that they can have a lower cap. But just the reason that the Eagles are so good at it is because the Eagles pay the money up front. Okay? And the utilizing of the salary cap with the void years is so important when it comes to how they're able to use those voided years allow you. Here, I'll give you an example. Here's the purpose. Void years are essential. I'm reading from the NFLPA's playbook here. Void years are essential placeholders in a contract that the player is not expected to play on. That helps teams manage their salary cap, especially when signing players to multiple year deals and significantly in the signing bonus. So that helps you out. Like I said, for instance, imagine a player signing a 3-year contract with $10 million signing bonus. They add 2 voidable years. The team's salary cap hit for the signing bonus is 2.5 per year over the 4 years. Okay? So it lowers the signing bonus on your hits to the cap. And it allows you to stay under the salary cap. That's what Howie has done. If they take those void years away, you're not keeping that old line intact.
Yeah, it's tough. Riding the bench. I'm going to try and get a one of those cap guys on Birds 365 too and break it down because it is confusing. Kimberly Sirico checks in. She says the game will become all flag football. Cancel culture.
Hey, by the way, I'd love to see Tom Brady in the Olympics, coming out of retirement, winning himself a gold medal, and playing in
I didn't even
Los
think
Angeles
about that, Sills.
at 60 years old. Brady.
Wait, you hear this? You hear this? Do you hear real quick? You hear this flag football quarterback crying about the NFL guys? I'm like, listen, man, I know you've worked hard at flag football and everything, but are you really going to try and tell me this 5'6" dude is better at football than these NFL quarterbacks? Man, come on, man, go sit down. All right, go sit down.
Do you know who the flag football guys are right now on the team? They're the guys when you go and you're going to play tackle football in your backyard. And you go like this. Yeah, I'm not taking that guy. I'm not taking that guy.
Last round.
Shit, I would take Cobb before I'd take one of them dudes on the roster right now. And
all right, so thank you, brother.
60-plus years old. I appreciate you too. Xander, great stuff. You and John, keep up the great work, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. See you guys.
All right. Cobb's going to come up here in a second. Yeah, so the flag football guys are crying that the NFL guys are going to – dude. It's like intramural football. And you got the intramural guys crying about NFL guys like T. Higgins and maybe A.J. Brown. Hey, who are you going to pick? A.J. Brown or Bob Smith from your cul-de-sac? Sorry, son. I'm not thinking you're going to make the roster. There's a reason there's more people that sit in the seats than play on the field. You know, there's 22 guys on a field. And there's 70,000 people in the chairs, in the seats. There's a reason for that. All right. We're going to ask Cobb his thoughts here on these OTAs. I tell you, like I tell people, it's May 27th. Your payoff's in September. And these OTAs are the first time you get a chance to work with the veteran guys. And let me tell you something. If you're a younger guy, one of the rookies, and you got a guy like Gary Cobb, and Gary Cobb sees you line up just a hair off, Leroy Selman comes to you and goes, got to be in a 3 technique, son. You're going to get reached and slipped. And I'm like, yeah, but he goes, no, you could do that against Northern Illinois. You're not going to do that against the Eagles. Yeah. So without further ado, our friend from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, former Eagle himself, Cobb, joins us now here. How you doing, Cobb? How was your Memorial Day weekend, my friend?
Good. Yeah, you know, I had to go up to Connecticut, man. I got a nephew getting married.
Yeah,
got married yesterday. Yeah, got married yesterday.
Did he go to Stanford High? Stanford High?
No. He's really up further north. He's up there near Bridgeport. But
Oh, right. Yeah.
he got married. So, they had all the family come in and everything. So we buzzed up there. See the youngsters say I do.
Well, hey, I just know this. Here's a note for him. After 38 years, good luck to you, son.
That's right.
Hey, good luck to you, man. Hey, Gary,
told him hang in there.
Yeah, hang in there. Hey, OTAs. This is what I love hearing. When you get a media guy, hey, just see that guy running around? Holy cow. The impact that guy's going to make. I'm like, dude, he's in helmets and shorts. I mean, where are we going here? In your opinion, what does OTAs in today's NFL mean to you?
Well, the big thing is it's the younger players getting a chance to get a better idea about what the NFL is about. Like, guys will, like you mentioned some of the things you just mentioned, but, at the older players, a lot of times will help a guy where he's lining up at, telling him what to anticipate, certain formations, talking about, let's say, the people in your division. What are the Cowboys like doing when they send this guy in motion, talking about CeeDee Lamb and different things like that. The veterans are talking to the younger players, giving them an idea, and talking about some of the details of the NFL and playing specifically, let's say, in this division, what they're going to see, trying to tell them things they need to start to work on because prior to camp, tell them, look, son, you're going to have to be able to cover this play here, different things that they're going to have to be prepared to do that they're going to face. And then, like, looking at the schedule, all of the, some of the things they're going to face on that schedule they're looking at, what offensives like to do, what do the defenses they're going to face, or what are they going to be seeing, and that sort of thing. Now, they have mainly, they got a veteran offense. It's the defense that the work is going into. What are these young kids? How can they help prepare them so they're ready to contribute? And talking about offenses, the things they're going to see. Now, of course, in this division, you got to talk about Washington and their young quarterback, what they're going to see from him. And talking about, these young pass rushers to try to give them a chance so they're ready when they really go to camp later on, so they have a better chance of being able to come in and help them. So they got to talk about where you're going to line up on outside, if you're in a 3 technique, where you lined up at, if you're outside and you're coming off the corner, what are you thinking, and what are you looking for when you're coming off the corner as a pass rusher, things like that. So they're trying to get these young players, give them a chance to be able to help them in the first year. So, that's really what it's about. Of course, there's a lot of other things going on, but ultimately, that's probably going to have the most effect upon the team is how well these young guys are prepared and if they can help them in the first year.
Gary, who do you think has more of an upside, Jaylen Hunt or Nolan Smith?
Well, right now I have to say Nolan because he's done more. Even though I look at Jaylen, I see a guy. I think he can do some things.
I think he can play too. Yeah. I was shocked. Weren't you shocked? I was shocked that when he started getting more reps, he started showing up, Jaylen Hunt.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he started showing that. He's got both power moves and of course the speed around the corner too.
Yeah.
Really, he really is a guy who. Probably when you look back at the season, he may have come further than anybody. With what he started out giving you and what he was giving you at the end when they were in the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden, they got him in there. I'm going, wait a minute. Was that Jaylen Hunt on that sack? So he really has come a long way. And I tell you, just in seeing him, I see he's you can see his confidence is growing greatly.
And he's bigger. Gary, he's bigger than I thought, too.
Yeah, he is bigger. He's bigger. And, he's bigger than Nolan, see?
Yeah.
He is bigger than Nolan. So, The thing is with Nolan, man, Nolan has been growing too, and that's why he's gotten, of course, a lot more time out there on the field. So that's why I give him the nod. But man, Jaylen Hurts is really, he's one of the guys I'm eager to see.
Yeah,
I want to see what he gives us this year because he's one of those guys that could fill a void.
absolutely. I agree 100%
Yeah.
here. I wrote some questions down here for OTAs for me.
Yeah.
So let me throw them at you now. I threw them at Xander here a couple of minutes ago.
Mhm.
Sidney Brown, who is he? What is he? I mean, what is that kid? I mean, he's a third-round pick, Gary. It's a pretty big third-round pick, too. We're talking about a guy that's a big commodity pick. So,
well, we're going to see. We're going to see. The kid has, tremendous. I mean, he plays hard, but it's not just about playing hard. You got to play smart.
Yeah.
So sometimes, he comes hard, and we got to be able to see whether, he's always make sure if he playing safety, he got that deep third or something, dude. We don't want you coming up, you're biting on something because you're so aggressive. And see, he's so aggressive that I don't know that they would trust him right now back there with that because he's like even though I don't know what safety what they're going to ultimately have him doing, but he's aggressive, man. This kid's coming towards the line of scrimmage. I mean, all out. But you playing safety in Fangio's defense. If you're a safety, you better not get beat over the top. Hey, because if you get beat over the top too much time, you're going to be sitting over there next to him. We're going to find say, hey, look, I got a spot for you right over here on this bench.
Don't you agree, Gary? In today's NFL compared to our NFL, I'd rather have a safety that can cover than instead of playing the run because you're 70% of the time, you're a nickel now.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, so if he's over pursuing and he's not the best tackler, even though, this guy delivers a great blow, in my opinion, does he even fit in Vic's scheme? Because this is exactly kind of what Isaiah Rodgers was a year ago. He wasn't a great tackler, but what he was he was a pretty good cover guy when they needed somebody to roll in there for Slay.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't say, you're talking coverage. I would say the whole gamut of pass defense because a lot of times he might not be in man-to-man coverage, as that safety, but he can't be getting beat deep.
Yep.
He's not going to tolerate that. Meaning like you're biting off something and all of a sudden you're up here, look up at the play and you're up here all over the linebacker. You're standing right behind the linebacker. When they're taking us deep. He's not going to, Fangio doesn't go for guys like that. And this kid, he's very aggressive. That's the only thing. He's got to know that Fangio doesn't want you up here making, kill shots unless you're in a short part of the coverage or something. But if you got deep third or deep half, you better not be anywhere near the line of scrimmage. He doesn't care what they show. He doesn't want you flying up there like that. So, and then I want to see because he's been here a little while, and I'm sure he probably learned some things, and so he may be able to give Vic what he wants when it comes to, taking away deep stuff for the safeties, making sure you take care of that, and then there are times he will be able to get a chance to come up and lay a lick on somebody, and that's where he will cause some fumbles.
Absolutely.
Because he comes up, he'll lay a lick on a guy.
How about this, Gary? Do you believe that we're going to see Vic do any kind of experimenting with Cooper DeJean out on the corner position? Because, I mean, I really don't know what Keely Ringo is, but I watch this kid and I see Cooper DeJean. This guy looks like some psycho athlete. I mean, every time, I watch him play in hoop, I watch him slam, and I watch the athlete that he was a year ago, teacupping a guy like Derrick Henry. I mean, do you think it's more important for him to stay in that nickel, or do you think it's more important for them to have another lockdown corner? Because let's face it, the years that they've been great, the last 3 years, they had great corner play.
True.
From Slay and Q, and then even when Bradbury had second team Pro Bowl season, and
That's
you had Slay on the other side. You
Yeah.
had great corner play. And
You're
a
right.
year ago, you didn't have the pass rushing
Mhm.
that you had in 22. So
Correct.
again, what's more important, do you think, for Vic, the middle of the field with Cooper or having him out on the corner? Do you think they will experiment with him out there?
Well, you know what? It's a question. You know, I can't. I give my opinion of it because I can't say that I know Vic that way. You know, but I'm interested in seeing what he does. But I do think it's going to depend on some of the other guys. I mean, like I think they want him to play nickel, but they could get in a position where they have to put him out on the corner. You know, if he's the only one that can play out there, and I can tell you, it would be great if Cooper did go out there and play. Because I tell you what, I think it'd be good for the league. This kid is a player, man. Kid can run. He got great cover skills. And the big thing is he's a playmaker. I mean, if they're throwing the ball over there, he's going to get his hands on some of them. I mean, some of them are going to be going back the other way, see? So it would just be great for the league, you know, because you see how popular he is. The kid would really be good for the league if he went ahead, he was out there on the corner, you know. But I don't know.
I'm going to change his name, Gary, to Cooper Caitlin Clark DeJean.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to put his ass out there on corner out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Got Caitlin Clark playing corner. Is that what it is?
Hey, put him out there. I think he's great. I mean, because, you know, I mean, we might as well say it like this. Here he is. He's a white corner.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in.
And the kid can play. Okay. I see him covering guys all the time. The kid can cover. I mean, like whoever's out there, he would be an outstanding corner.
Yeah.
So it would be fun to see him go out there and be locking guys down and competing with them and taking balls the other way, taking some of them back to the house probably. Absolutely. But and he has the ability to do that. Whole thing though is, I know they love him in there at that nickel spot because he's in there. He's going to get a chance to make plays, and he's got kind of a corner. Now this is a big thing about him: a corner that likes to tackle. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That has become in the league, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Very scarce.
Right.
You know? And Cooper DeJean likes to tackle.
Yeah.
So you're going like, wait a minute, he's corner. Yeah. But he likes to tackle, man. You know, whatever. And that's why I know that they want to play him at nickel. They like to. But, you know, who knows? He could wind up where they would have to move him to corner because he could play there and do a good job out there. And, you know, maybe somebody else will have those abilities, so those same nickel abilities where the kid that likes to tackle. But
the Makuba kid could maybe, you know, depending on how good the Brown competition with Makuba goes, maybe you drop one of those guys in the nickel and you put him out wide. Maybe. And here's your two corners for the next 10 years.
That's right. But I tell you what, I don't think it's going to happen. But it could.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah, and hey, I tell you what, boy, they would be the talk of the league, man.
Oh yeah, Salt and Pepper. You got Salt and Pepper playing corner in Philly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, lock down a Salt and Pepper. Lock you down.
Yeah.
That would be great. That'd be fun. I mean, I know the league would like that, man. They would have a good time with that. Because those guys would be getting talked about, man.
All right, I have one more here for you. All right, So Gary. He's hanging out at Ocean City. He's got all the honeys on him, Cooper DeJean. Jaylen Hurts is the man time of the year. I mean, he's getting the Nelson Mandela Award. I made that up. But he's like, you know, I mean, you got DJ doing commencement speeches. You know, you got the White House. You got these guys are real TV stars now, right? I mean, you think it's too much? I mean, do you think again? I mean, it's very – how about this? I've never seen the team act more un-Philly than what I'm watching with these guys. Like, there's Cooper hanging out Ocean City. I mean, this guy's got every stripper on the planet from Scores, not that I know what Scores is, all the way down to Ocean City, Maryland, in the boardwalk. Yeah. You know, he's got everything going on here. I mean, too many distractions.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, because this is something new. You know, they haven't been down this road before where
and so young. That 17 team had vets on it.
Yeah,
This
they
is a
did have
young-
more vets. You're right. They did have more vets. This is a young group. And you could just see the way they're acting, man. They loving every bit of it, man. They just love it. Now, hey, time's up with that. Celebrating last year, that celebration is over. Okay? So you guys got to step up this year. And you know what? Everybody, they got the circle. Everybody got you circled.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we play the Eagles on week 3. We play the Eagles on week 7. We play the Eagles on week 8, whatever it is. They've got the Eagles circled. If they don't beat anybody, if they don't play well against anybody, these teams want the Eagles. And you got a young team, just went for this. They went through this. They won the title. Yeah, they've been celebrating. They got it in. And they got to put that in the past, man.
Hey, I got to get this on the table with you before I get you out of here. So the league, this is the last one here. Last 10 days, Gary, they got their fannies kicked in the owners' meetings in Minneapolis when they lost the tush push.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's rumors coming out that the NFL owners want to void those voidable years on contracts so that you're not able to spread the money out. Get this, the Eagles are the top right now at $400 million in voidable years on contracts. The next closest team, Gary, is $200 million. The Niners.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence.
No, it's not.
That's not a coincidence where you went after the most successful play they have.
Yes.
Then you're turning around trying to get them in the boardroom. Gary, this league likes mediocrity. They want everyone to have parity, and they do not want anybody to have an advantage over the next. It's almost like the Eagles are being penalized for doing the right job and running their team right. I mean, that's a big deal. It's more of a bigger deal than the tush push because this is how you're able to keep players intact on the offensive line.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Do you think it's coincidence?
I don't think any of it's coincidence. I do think that, that the rest of the league, they want the Eagles to go down, man. They want to take the Eagles down. I mean, they do. I mean, I understand they saw them win last year, saw all this, talk about this team and blah, blah, and that a tush push and blah, 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 blah. We're tired of it. That's what the NFL basic players, well, really it's the teams and the front offices around the league. They are tired of the Eagles act. They don't want to hear it. They're tired of it. They want to beat them. And so, but this is the way it is, man. If you're on the top, people don't like you and you're on the top, man.
They did this to the Patriots, right? When the Patriots are on top, they went after New England this way.
They want to see somebody take them down. There's no doubt that they want to see somebody take the Eagles down, and they got to be ready for it. They're gonna get everybody's best this year. They got a tough schedule. They got a lot of work ahead of them, and you better believe that. However, whatever they could do, we saw it with the tush push. All this, come on, they wanted that thing down. A lot of people wanted it done with. They don't want it anymore. They want the Eagles to go down. They want to see them getting beat, and they want to all play a role in taking the Eagles down. And we'll see whether the Eagles are able to fight it off, man. But they want to know. They better know those guys, the young players especially. These people don't like you, man. You don't talk before the game. They don't like you. Hey, that's what it is, man. But we'll see if they're able to fight it off. That's going to be the fun of this year, man. It's going to be fun.
Man, the Players Association has no balls with this. I mean, they didn't like the Gene Upshaw deal. We had a better than the owners deal when it came to the payouts on TV. They ripped that up. It's funny in here. People are telling me, well, they can't do anything until 2030. I'm like, Hoss, you work in the NFL. The owners can do whatever they want, and they do it. I mean, whenever they want something, they'll rip it up. Okay, we're the only people. When somebody signs a contract, right, Gary, a 3-year contract, say it's $3 million back in our day, okay? 3 years, $3 million. Okay, well, you get caught, you ain't getting that last 2 years of that, man. You're out the door.
You're not getting that money. That's right.
You're not getting that dough, man. The owners can do whatever they want to do. G Cobb, I appreciate your time, my friend.
All right,
Thank you
buddy.
so
Hey,
much.
have a good one.
You got it. That is our friend Gary Cobb. Yeah, it's somebody who's getting there going like this. Well, yeah, the CBA, it goes to 2030. I'm like, Doug, what are you talking about? The National Football League will rip any deal up that's not in the benefit of the 32 Sharks. That's what they are and who they are. I don't care about that stuff. Man, they got a contract. Well, get this, just like you. They don't abide by the contract. It's funny, every time I hear fans do this, they go, player signed a 3-year contract. He should be held accountable to the contract that he signed. Why? The owners aren't. Okay, the owners aren't. If they want to move off a player, like get this, Deshaun Watson. If you don't think Jimmy Haslam is working on parachuting out of that deal, you're out of your minds. I mean, that's not happening. By the way, I got to say something here. And I want to make this so over the weekend, I guess last Friday was the last day of Around the Horn. You know that show that was on ESPN? How many people liked that show? Around the Horn. How many people liked it? I guess it was on for 23 years. Really a great run. If you want to talk about shows and such, it was really a great run. But how many people liked that show, Around the Horn? Here's Pump. Says, at least you know. I was cooking Xander and Hack this morning. Both those fools on a rotisserie. Whoa. How you doing, Pump? All right. Getting closer to rent. That's why. How many people like that show? I miss cold pizza. All right. That was the beginning of First Take. Got too woke. Well, I used to like it. Ronald, that's my take. Mike and Mike was my shit. Mike and Mike had a really great show. So let me show you something here before we take a time out here. That show was the most boringest show in the history of ESPN. I want to name you names. Bill Plaskey, J.A. Adonde, Israel Gutierrez, Bob Ryan, Woody Page, Bomani Jones, Pablo Torre, Michael Smith, Sarah Spain, Mina Kimes, George Sedano, Emily Kaplan, Kate Fagan. These people are all the most liberal people you could ever possibly have. There was never an opposing view. It was an ideology and it was a talking point. Those people were all, again, liberal. Again, I'm not telling you whether you should watch a liberal or a conservative show or not, but they never gave you different opinions. They never gave you contrasting opinions. They were telling you one way and that way, the Disney way. They were never going to be a talk show. That's not a talk show to me. Look, like I said, again, like Yale goes, I don't listen to politics. Well, Yale, that's all that show was. They never evolved. I'll tell you the show that I dig, and to this day, and it's why Tony Kornheiser is like 80 years old. It's PTI. PTI is better, in my opinion, than even First Take. Because Kornheiser has an opinion on both sides of the aisle. He doesn't have a conservative or liberal point of view. He sees a topic and he talks about it in the way that's kind of what I do. You know, I don't go down the liberal lane like many people think. Okay? My take is I think you should have, if you're a liberal, you should be able to voice your opinions. But people don't want to hear that. And that's why that show went away. There's no coincidence. That show stayed on Around the Horn. And it stayed on the air during the Biden administration. And as soon as Trump won, they got rid of Joy Reid at MSNBC, and they got rid of Around the Horn. They don't want to hear it. Get this. This guy's full of shit. I want opinions on both sides. I don't want to hear just your take, jackass. That's not a talk show. One view is not a talk show. Okay? Especially when you have a debate show or you have people that you talk to. Hey, listen, if I was doing a show and I didn't feel like having your opinion, I'd shut the chat room off. That's what most people at IP do and some of these other places. They shut you out because they don't want to hear you. I do. I like when somebody, I said this last week. Okay? That's right. I don't box myself in like that. Absolutely not. Keep your friends closer and your enemies closer is so true. That's why you go to the White House if you disagree with Trump. It's your chance to get in his ear one-on-one. Why not? You have a platform to do that. Absolutely. I know Opie Anthony. I knew him very well. Can't keep a show like that on the air, especially on a place like Sirius. The only reason that there's no coincidence that Howard Stern has completely changed the way that he approaches his radio show or his satellite show. Sirius would never keep that thing on. And he became a business partner with them. Stern makes $100 million a year, having changed what made him great when he was on WNBC and he was on K-Rock. And he saw it. He's smart. He was absolutely smart when he did that. Shannon Sharp has his own show. He doesn't need he doesn't need ESPN. Hey, and to the point here, Hollywood. Look at the show they hate the most on ESPN right now. They hate Pat McAfee. Why? Because Pat McAfee gives people entertainment, content, great guest, and compelling stuff. You get a guy like Aaron Rodgers on there talking about anti-vaxxing. It's fabulous broadcasting. And it drove Disney and ABC nuts and ESPN nuts. But he has the highest viewed show of any show on that network. He gets the most ratings of anybody on that network. They hate him for his show is the polar opposite of Around the Horn. Around the Horn is what people watch. 30 years ago. Today, people watch McAfee. They're more in front of YouTube than they are in front of a television set. You're in front of your phone more, and a computer or a tablet, more than you are in your car listening to radio. I mean, off topic, but Pats did Mayo so dirty. You agree? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, Jared Mayo, the head guy up there, former head coach. Yeah, they did. But remember something too. Just like David Culley. David Culley parachuted out with $18 million in his pocket. As a career move, Jared Mayo in New England being dealt like that and being fired after 1 year, absolutely. He still gets paid the next 2 years, though, because he signed, I think, a 3-year contract with the Patriots. And so he'll make $7 million a year sitting on the bench, or sitting on the beach, I should say. Not too bad. Okay? Same thing with Frank Wright. That's not too bad. I mean, I saw all the people glazing over that show going, oh my God, it's the greatest show in the history of like ESPN. I'm like, that show was boring. Around the Horn. Look at the names. Like I said, these are like there's no opposing view. Look at this, 700 times. 24% of the time from 2002 to 2025, Woody Page and his liberal views were on Around the Horn. And there's no Clay Travis. They never put, obviously, any conservative opinion on here. Mina Kimes? Come on, man. How can you get opposing views or disagree with somebody? It was supposed to be a debate. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a show back in the day called The Sports Reporters. And I liked that show because you had Mike Lupica. And Mike Lupica, he didn't give a crap either. He had opinions. And those guys, I think Kornheiser was actually on it. They had Lupica and him. And I think there was another guy who they used to have on that show, that Sports Reporters, was just fantastic. And I used to watch that show. You think it used to be on Sundays? Tush Push Band, only team with no back-to-back home games, and now void years. Yet fools McMuffin thinks the NFL loves the Eagles. I think the NFL loves the Eagles, Brian, but I think they like getting under the skin of Eagle fans. I've learned one thing about Eagle fans. Eagle fans are the most easily touched off people. When it comes to their team, their players, if you say anything over the top about Jaylen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, a potential repeat, making a step back, all things that look like could be, no way. Yeah, Jeremy Schaap and Dick Schaap were great on that show. I liked that show, Tim. That was one of my favorite shows, man. Yeah, but guess what, Alex? You guys sell. I say this all the time. You know those radio shows you have in Philadelphia on WIP and 97.5? It doesn't matter who's the host. It doesn't matter who's doing radio. Fans want their opinions heard about their team. And if you have a compelling guy and you have a guy with good topics, he's always going to resonate in that city. I mean, the morning show on WIP has really good ratings, but I listen to it. I'm not sure what they're saying. Okay? I'm not sure what they were saying on it. You know what I mean? And I don't really hear anything. You know, that's kind of to the point where you're talking about potentially looking at new faces. And as we mentioned, you know, some of the question marks. And we'll go back over this again. We'll reset this because I do want to reset it. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure you check out my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Man, I thought it was really awesome this past weekend. Morgan & Morgan was just knee-deep in celebrating the weekend and honoring our veterans. I thought it was just absolutely sensational what they were doing. If you took a look at some of their spots, this is kind of what they are. They've had this company now for 30 years, and they are the #1 injury law firm in America for a reason. And the reason is because they win. I tell you this all the time. The family here in Pennsylvania got $30 million in recovery, where an insurance company wanted to offer up $650K. No way. The team of Morgan & Morgan went in and got justice for that family in Pennsylvania. Another family down in Florida, $12 million they ended up recovering. They initially wanted to give them $300K. No way, man. That's not what they do. They'll take your case. They'll hear your case. They don't get paid unless you win. That's the beauty here. You're not paying any fees here. Okay? You're not. Unless they win, which means unless you win. And this is why they're the #1 injury law firm in America. For more information, if you're ever injured, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, You tell him Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. We appreciate you guys so much. All supers go to the top. I want to throw this at you here. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, said, "Why are we still in the NCAA? Why are we still here?" They don't want to be part of the NCAA anymore. They've outgrown it. They're a professional sports league. They don't want to be part of that. Why should I be governed by an organization that doesn't have the best interests of the Southeastern Conference? When you're making all that money, why in the world would I want to be part of the National Communist Association of America? It's one of the biggest businesses in all of American sports now is college football, and it's run by TV. What in the world would I need the NCAA for? Southeastern Conference is like the Premier League. I mean, they don't get money. No. The SEC gives the NCAA money. They don't get paid from them. The #1 cash money cow for the NCAA, Yale, is the NCAA basketball tournament. It's their #1 revenue source. By the way, prior to the, BCS and prior to the national title, it was mythical. Every team back in my time that won the national title, that was a mythical title. The NCAA never gave you a national championship. It was just awarded by the media. Okay? It was just rewarded. No, I don't know what the benefit is to being in the NCAA. Why? So there's stupid rules? So they can govern nil? They're going to do a blowtorch towards the NC2A. They're just going to do a blowtorch towards it. Why in the world would I have to be involved in something like that? Okay? All right. So I had a text conversation the other day with The Rock. And what would you guys feel about UFL having a football team in Philly? Would you support it? They're talking about putting one also in Tampa. Some of the cities haven't done very well this year. Do you believe that a UFL team in Philly would make it for spring ball? I don't know what they would call it. Maybe the Philadelphia Stars from back in the day. I mean, one thing I'm learning about the Philly sports fan, I don't know if you're going to support minor league sports. And see here, look. I mean, you guys hate college football. Half the audience in here doesn't like college football. You're a professional sports city. You're not a college football city. Like, when I talk sports in Florida, okay, I talk sports in Florida. It's a college area. It's college football. And it's pro ball. In the Northeast, it's not real. You're one of the few that enjoy college sports that live up in the Northeast. College basketball probably has a better grip on sports fans from Philly on all the way up. Well, let me ask you, so you don't think UFL would make it in Philly? They want to try to put a team here. He asked me what I thought. I go, man, football's such a big sport. ESPN and Fox are behind it. Would it make it? That St. Louis team, the city of St. Louis, because the Rams got ripped up and had to move because of Stan Kroenke, they get 45, 50,000 fans in there. And Anthony Becht, who we've had on the program, it's just absolutely one of the best UFL, and they deserve an NFL team. If I were the NFL team, and I was the NFL, I'd want to put a team back in St. Louis. I don't know about putting a team back in, say, Oakland or San Diego. I doubt that. But I'd put a team in St. Louis. Yale says there's a lot of competition in Philly. A lot of economic dollars that are going one place, football and NFL football. Then you're talking, if anything, Flyers, right? You're not going to spend your money going to a spring football. I don't know. Would it make it? And would UFL football make it in Philly? I'm not sure. So we had a kind of a conversation, about that. And he's like, we're talking about it. Yeah, but what's that mean? How many people really even watch Temple football? That's a great idea. OKC has some of the best sports fans on the planet. I mean, that basketball, they sell that thing out. I didn't know how good Oklahoma City was as a sports city, but that thing has been sensational. It's probably going to be OKC and Indiana in the finals. I think what the Knicks did the other day by extending that, I think they just extended the series. I don't really think they got back in it. And you're going to be talking about OKC and Indiana in the NBA Finals. Man, is that going to be a tough putt when it comes to ratings? Move out of that super soccer team, and I'll take the UFL team instead. I'm not a soccer guy, too. I'm a football guy. I support football for sure. All right. Some storylines. We're 100 days out from the start of the NFL season. I wrote this down here. They're a little bit off kind of topic here, more so than like, what teams am I going to look at? I think one of the storylines is going to be, how in the world is the National Football League going to try to sell 18 games to fans when they're constantly talking about injury and safety for players? Do fans want another game? Do they want an 18th game for the upcoming season? Look at what baseball has done. They oversaturated it. Many people don't watch it until after the All-Star game. Do you want another NFL game, an 18th game? Would that be something that would sell for the league? I think sometimes less is more. Okay? Abanias, no. International, no. Not unless you take the preseason games away. Charlie says it's good where it is, 17 games. I still think they need to add another bye for player safety if they really gave a shit about the player safety. No, but 3 preseason games is meaningless. I'm going to tell you this. Big Easy, they used to play 6. I mean, they used to play 6 preseason games back in the day. I did like that league. Those girls hit, too, in that league. See, the 2 buys, to me, if you want to extend the season, you don't have to extend it with games. Extend it with buys. If you really cared about the health of the players, don't add a game, add a buy. But that's not how they see that. They want to take you to Brazil, they want to go to Spain, they want to go to Ireland. They got all the international games. They're talking about actually putting a team over in Europe. So, I mean, you're not really talking about safety here. Ronald said that I like the 16. Yeah, that's right. And expand the rosters. See, they're not going to expand the rosters unless they expand games and add another game. Growth of the sport. Well, you could grow a sport by not adding games. The London Crusaders, I like that. I want to hit on this. So I heard Tom Brady talking about wanting to come out of retirement and play in the Olympics and have Brady play it on that Olympic team. Xander was talking about some of the guys on Team USA, this flag football. And by the way, flag football is going to be an enormous thing that the league is going to promote. Get used to it. You're going to have a flag football team in Philadelphia very soon. And it wouldn't shock me if A.J. Brown or some of the players end up crossing over and playing in that league. Because this is what the league wants. I told you this last week. Fastest way to get out of a courtroom is to take the helmets away. They're rolling towards now flag football. Can't hit the players, can't hit the quarterbacks. They took the drop tack, they dropped the hip drop tackle away. That's what they're rolling towards. Plus, you get it to be an Olympic sport. So now you get players to get an opportunity to have a gold medal. Of all the things, add that to Tom Brady. I mean, hey, I played arena. That wasn't that easy, Okay, that wasn't that easy. They're going to lose a ton of viewers if they make the NFL a flag football league. You know, I heard that, Eduardo, but the rule changes now. The ratings are through the roof. Okay, and it's clearly not as physical as it once was. The hip drop is bogus. You can't count on one hand how many times they called that this year. I don't remember. As a matter of fact, that's a great take. I don't remember them even calling that once. Speaking of, did they call it hip? That's a great. I don't remember a game where they called it. Okay, I don't remember a game where they called it. All right, so let's get to this one. OTAs in 2025. Who is going to be the next Philadelphia Eagles star? If you had to pick one player or two, Jalen Carter's already a star. Who is going to be the next star for the Eagles? Let me see the stars right now. AJ, Barkley, Lane, Hurts, Carter, Devontae, Mulata, Landon, Bond, Q, and Cooper. Out of 22 players, half your team has stars on it. Pretty impressive. AJ, Barkley, Lane, Hurts, Devontae, Mulata, Carter, Landon, Bond, Q, and Cooper. Who's going to be the next star? Jurgens, too. Yeah, just signed a brand new $18 million year contract. Cam Jurgens. Somebody not named in that group. What's next in the Olympics? Hobby horse racing? Hey. Nolan Smith. I'm not putting Campbell in because I don't know Campbell when he's going to play. Nolan Smith. Aziz who? Jaylen Hunt. Who's going to be the next star for the Eagles? Hunt. Okay. Nolan Smith, Jaylen Hunt, Moro Jomo. Okay. Makuba. Davis is not a star. He'll never be. Jordan Davis will never be a star. Ty Robinson. I know who Jordan Davis is. That's not a star football player. Okay, he's not a star football player. He's a good player, but he's not a star player. He's never been a star. I like this. Ty Robinson, Makuba, Moro Jomo, Jaylen Hunt, Nolan Smith. It's funny. Nobody's mentioning The Kobe. Reed Blankenship. Okay. Sleeping on my guy, Jordan Davis. No, I'm not. I've seen him the last 3 years. I know who he is. I know who he is. That guy's not going to be a star. He's a good player. I mean, did you guys think Linval Joseph was a star? I got Q already on. He was a good football player already. King. He's already a good football player. The Kobe Dean could have been a star. He's not a star, dude. You don't draft a linebacker to replace him. I don't agree with people. I think they drafted that guy to put him right next to Zach Bond. Okay? By the way, you could give him a contract extension right now. Why aren't you? If he's so good. Hey, Ben, if Dean's a star, why aren't you giving him a contract extension? Ben's calling him a star. Okay, well, he's up for you can give him a contract extension. Why haven't you? Because he's hurt? Okay. Well, that's not a star. A star is somebody you want to build your team around. Have for the future. Okay? Dallas Goedert has had multiple years of playing. And by the way, I think Dallas Goedert, if he goes somewhere else, will be a star. But again, that offense doesn't utilize tight ends. That's not an offensive passing offense where it's a high-powered passing offense. It never has been, and it never will be. Now, that's not how you win games. You are not a high-volume passing team. End of story. The Eagles do not have a big-time NFL passing team. Okay? And again, don't concern yourself with it. Here, look at this guy. Stop hating on the Eagles by saying what? You don't have a high-volume passing team? That's a fact. Your quarterback threw the ball 390 times last year. There were guys in the league that had 400 completions, more than your guy threw the ball. Got a great tight end. How could you call a guy a great tight end that's never had a 1,000-yard season? I don't think he's ever had over 70 catches. Right? If I had to pick a star for me, man, I'm going to go Jaylen Hunt. If I'm going to pick a guy out of that crew, Nolan Smith, Ty Robinson, Moro Ajomo, Makuba, Reed Blankenship, I'm going to go Jaylen Hunt. I'm doing Jaylen Hunt. I thought passing would be more balanced this year, but that may not be the case. Our group of running backs is better than last year. Well, if healthy. If Dillon is healthy, yes. Okay, if A.J. Dillon is healthy, they will be better. But that's a big ask. And again, they run the ball. That doesn't mean that you're a bad passing team. You're just not a high-volume team. Running the football and playing defense travels through the playoffs. And I think you're saying that because of weather. Okay? And remember something too, Hurts. He's not in Green Bay because he stinks. It's because he has a pinched nerve. And when you have nerve damage like that, That thing could pop up at any time, and it could disable him for multiple games or even a year. So you got to remember that. And if Dylan stays healthy, I still think you're going to travel at around 5.5 yards to 6 yards a carry with both those players. It would not shock me. Okay? It would not shock me that if you had a guy gain 600 yards and another guy gained 1,700 yards. SB, what's your point? What's your point then, Sills? Well, my point is that you're not in a high volume passing attack, and Dallas Goedert is never going to have big numbers. That's my point. He's one of the most underutilized players on your football team because you don't throw the ball to him. I mean, that's the point. The point is, again, is you're talking about a tight end and you're talking about Goedert. Well, Dallas Goedert is underutilized. He's an underutilized player. That's why you're not paying him $15 million. Dude, you do not have a high volume passing game. Dylan gets 600 yards if he stays healthy. Yeah. Absolutely. And if he gets 600 yards, that means that you're taking some of the carries away from Saquon. And Saquon still, again, the number, Leon, for me, and again, Ronald, that's not a bad thing that you're not high volume passing. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, if you're not a high volume pass, that means you have low risk plays you're running. And you have lower chances of turnovers. That's why you were great at not having a lot of turnovers after week 4. I'm not speaking negatively here. You cut your turnovers down by having and cutting down high turnover opportunities through the passing game. Tip passes, interceptions, overthrows, fumbles. And you ran the ball more. So sometimes I think you forget how young Hurts is. He's only 26. He's not. Yes, he has. This is who he is. He's not going to. There's not going to be some epiphany where he throws for 4,500 yards. This is who the guy is. And this is who you want him to be. Why are you wanting him to do more when he doesn't have to? He's going to stay in his lane and he's going to continue to win because the lane has been carved out by the organization. It's a ball-controlled Dallas Cowboy, old school, Emmitt Smith type offense that produced 3 Super Bowls. You've been to 2 of them. You should have won both of them. What's your problem? It's not a rip. This is how you win. Okay? I mean, you can't say we don't have high value passing with Barkley in the backfield. Why? The Ravens do. They have high volume, and he had 1,950 yards last year. And he threw the ball 500 times. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not the case. Okay? Like I said too, okay, how many places on the planet do you hear this? My quarterback doesn't have to play great every week. It's a good thing. Jaylen Hurts is the reason why Hurts has a better resume than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Who else? Hell, now even Matthew Stafford. He's been to 2. Stafford's been to 1. Why? He's got a better resume. Jaylen doesn't have to win 4 games in a row. He can be okay, not turn the ball over. That's a great setup. Allen and the rest of these guys have to play great every week. They have to. And I don't believe they can win 4 in a row. I don't believe there's a quarterback in the league today, outside of the guy in Kansas City, that can win 3 games in a row in the playoffs to win a Super Bowl. There's just too many variables that you have to have. The guy has got to play great every week for them to be able to. And look at this. Kansas City last year, they get into the game against the Eagles. He didn't play well 3 games in a row. Final game cost them. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs have been to 3 straight Super Bowls. Okay? Look how much Josh Allen had his best year MVP season. Less attempts because cuts down on turnovers. Absolutely true. That's right. He cut down on the turnover plays and the minus plays. That's the one thing that here. Do you know where can Jaylen Hurts improve this coming season? Where do you guys think he can improve? Let me take a look at something here on Jaylen Hurts. Where can Hurts, as they're going into training camp here, or OTAs, I should say, where can Jaylen Hurts improve his game? Let me look at this here. I want to bring up a number here for you guys. Okay. Man, that's a lot. Quick reads. There it is. Look at this. So Jaylen Hurts last year, let's take a look at this. He was sacked 38 times, not counting the playoffs. Okay? He was sacked 38 times for 271 yards. So let's do this. Okay. 271 divided by 15. Jaylen Hurts loses 25 yards a game in sacks alone. 20 yards. He loses 20 yards a game in sacks and sack yards and sacks taken. I mean, Josh Allen had 12 sacks last year. Counting the playoffs, Hurts was over 46. Okay? For Jaylen Hurts to get better and get those 20 yards of minus plays, Jaylen Hurts is 20 yards in minus plays every game. Every single football game. That guy's going to give up 20 yards. Those 20 yards could be the difference, especially when your defense is so young. Okay? I mean, if he improves on that alone, that's going to improve his football season. And that's going to improve him in the pocket. And that's going to improve him playing on time. He also lacks throwing the ball across the middle of the field. Sills, I don't know if you have access to the all 22. I do. I watched 22. The throw targets the last 2 years have been crazy, where they don't throw across the middle of the field. That's why the receiver 3 and tight end are, in my opinion, a waste of time. And that's why I think they're adding the fullback into the mix. Okay? That's right. Jaylen has the protection. He's just not very good in the pocket yet. He still struggles with pocket presence. Now, that will improve. Okay? That I do believe improves. Because he'll be more comfortable the more that he gets back in the pocket. But 20 yards a play, 20 yards a game, he gives up in sacks. What does that do? Well, it takes you out of field position for field goals. It puts your defense in a tougher position. And especially like we just said, when you got a defense that you've got to stay on the field and have time of possession on your side. Dude, get this. Danny, is deep passing is excellent for sure for the best. It's kind of ironic. I get the Milton comparison to him. Similar issue in the short and intermediate. Hurts, I would say this to you. Deep passing doesn't win Super Bowls. Okay? They don't win Super Bowls. Checkdowns do. Look at Brady. Look at Mahomes. That's a great question. Someone asked, is Hurts the worst of anybody when it comes to taking sacks? Man, I didn't realize it was that much. He gives away in minus yardage 20 yards per game. Now, again, you got to put things in context here when you're talking. I'm going to show you something. Okay, last year, Caleb Williams had 68 sacks. Okay? He took 68 sacks. But here's the difference. He threw the ball 562 times. Jaylen Hurts threw the ball 361 times. There's 200 more attempts. So obviously the higher volume is going to be on Caleb Williams. And you kind of get away with that because of the amount of volume throws. Let's see. Joe Burrow had 48. Get this. Joe Burrow had 48 sacks. Jaylen Hurts had 38. And Joe Burrow threw the football 652 times. Who's better in the pocket? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow plays on time. Do you understand what I'm saying here when I say this? Burrow plays on time. Hurts doesn't. Hurts has to play on rhythm. Like here, like I said, it's a great indicator on how good you are in the pocket. Like here's Josh Allen. He's 35th. This guy threw the ball 483 times and had 14 sacks against for only 63 yards. Josh Allen, look at that. I mean, 63 in the 17. Let me see here. This guy gives up 3 yards a game and minus plays and sacks. 3 yards. Hurts gives up 20. If they improve that number, the passing game will improve dramatically. I mean, that's where he can improve. It's not about volume of throwing it. It's his presence in the pocket that's killing him and why you're so bad at times. Well, you guys keep giving me the excuse. Well, Saquon Barkley, he ran the ball, and so Hurts doesn't have to throw it. Yeah, well, when Hurts does, he takes sacks. Like I said, counting the playoffs, he took 46 of them. And they're minus, I tried to bring this up to Marcus Hayes. And I told him, I said, those things are like turnovers almost. Because they take you out of field position and they take you out of field goal position. And I think he can improve by having better presence in the pocket. I don't know what this means. Here. Well, Josh Allen got all those stats. Dude, it's about how you handle yourself with not taking minus yards. And I just got through telling you, Jaylen doesn't have to play great every week. These other guys do. If one guy gives up 3 yards per game and taking minus plays and another guy 20, and if the guy improved and you won the Super Bowl by not taking as many sacks, do you think you improved your passing game? Yes. Okay. Hurts talk is exhausting. Dude, you're only going to win the Super Bowl this year if that guy improves the offense. It's exhausting because you have to improve one side of the ball. You don't need to prove your run game. Seals, what year of Brady's career was the best year as a quarterback? Was Brady his best version in year 4 and never improved? Let's take a look at this. I'll tell you when I thought Brady became a great football player. It's a great question. I never looked at it that way. I would say Tom Brady became in year 4. In year 4, probably when he became his better, or when he started in year 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they went 14-2. I mean, from that time frame, which is incredible. Check this out. So Brady, and this time frame with that defense, he goes 14-2. He goes 14-2. That's 28-4. Then they go 12-4. That's 40-8. Then they go 12-4. That's 52-12. Then they go 16-0. From that time frame, he goes 68-12 from year 4 on. That's when he became the quarterback he is now. I mean, his best year was the year they didn't win it, believe it or not. That's how good. He needed to improve the turnovers, and he did that by holding on to the ball, taking sacks. The sacks, even though we might not like them, did not hurt the team because he would bomb them right after. He would not do any of that. 18 passing touchdowns is not bombing anybody. The guy who was the threat in the backfield was Barkley. Barkley didn't take any minus plays. Or barely did. He didn't bomb anybody. 29-03 and 18 passing touchdowns is not lighting anybody up. The media don't want to see a running quarterback. When the Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson has failed, so Hurts took over the throne. Just the facts. Jaylen Hurts is not a better football player than Lamar Jackson. He's a better quarterback. Just like Tom Brady's not a better he's not a better athlete at the quarterback position than Aaron Rodgers. And Tom Brady's a better quarterback. He sees the game better. Okay? They make better decisions in ball games. Hurts taking sacks is his way of not throwing picks. And to your point, he'd rather take sacks than throw picks. And that's why he's got a high number. He's reliable and proven. Correct. And he's smart. Jaylen Hurts, I'll say it again to you. I think Jaylen Hurts is one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. And he'll do whatever it takes to win. Hence, all 4 years have been different. Okay? That's not true. He didn't show up in all the playoff games. That's absolutely not true. He showed up in 2 of them. That's my point. He doesn't have to play 3 to 4 games in a row. Great. It's set up by the way the team is constructed. It's okay. There's no other team in the league like it that can do that. No team in the NFL right now is set up the way the Eagles are. Yeah, it was great in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl. Okay? Absolutely. No doubt. Played great in 2 games. Absolutely. He does He does not have to go 4 games in a row, though, is my point. Yes, right. Our offense could have turned the ball over 5 times and we still would have won the Super Bowl. I'm not buying that. You turn the ball over on your 20 and you do that on the other side of the field and you think you would have won the Super Bowl? I don't think so. It's a crazy comment. That's true. The team carries him to the champ. I don't think that. I think the team was constructed around him so that he doesn't have to play great every week. Again, it's not a rip. And if you want to improve the offense, especially the passing game, and you're not going to have high volume, just have him take less sacks. Just have him take less sacks. If you got that, get this, if you put that 271 yards in a game and that 20 yards in a game, you're closing teams out. Yeah, I mean, turnovers. I think he was speaking crazy though, but I get where he was. Philadelphia. I already looked at the playoff drive ratio. Josh Allen drive ratio consists of turnovers and chucking. Bro, you can say whatever you want. Jaylen Hurts had 90 net yards passing in the playoffs. He takes a shitload of sacks. He does not have to play great every week. And for you to sit there and try to suggest that that guy had a better year than Hurts is nuts. Team is constructed around him where he doesn't have to play great every week. It's a great compliment. Yeah, can he improve on the sacks? Yeah, play more on time. This is the problem that I had with Shedeur Sanders, is that I don't think Shedeur plays on time. And that's why he fell to the 5th round. Okay? So Josh Allen had A.J. Brown and Barkley. He wins the Super Bowl, right? No. No. He does not. Now, he wins the Super Bowl if he has the number 1 defense and A.J. Brown. I can lose one of those guys, Barkley or A.J. But if I have the number 1 defense, I'm winning. Yes. Just because you have the offensive, look at T. Higgins and Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. What did that guarantee him? Hell, that couldn't even guarantee him 9 wins, could it? I mean, that couldn't even guarantee him an opportunity to make it even into the postseason. So if Hurts takes less sacks, what does that mean for him and the team? More positive yardage, less minus plays. Jake Elliott's kicking more field goals and you're putting teams away. And those Carolina games and those Jacksonville games, you're not in games where those teams have a chance to beat you in the final drive. You're putting those teams away if he takes less sacks. And that means anytime you're positive yardage. When Jaylen is decisive, he's very accurate. Not a lot of off throws. But here, Dank, here's the one thing. He's very predictable. He doesn't throw across the middle. He doesn't go to the tight end. He never throws or barely throws to wide receiver 3. He throws to the Y and Z. It's not a complicated offense. The Eagles don't run a complicated offense. They run a physical offense. They're going to run it down your throat, and you know where they're going in the passing game. It's either going to Devontae or A.J. Brown. Case closed. Okay? I mean, again, dots It's a low volume passing team. It's designed that way. Okay. I mean, you won a Super Bowl that way. Jaylen Hurts said it about 2 weeks ago. Defense wins championships. He saw it on display. That's it, Dan. And my only problem with Hurts, it's the predictability. But here's the thing, though. Low eagle. I get it. It's predictable. But when you can't stop it, that's more on them. Can you imagine? Think about this, how mentally defeating that is. If you're a coordinator and you're going against Jaylen and you're going against this offense and you know where they're going to go and their predictability, and to some of you guys say, yeah, hey, it's an old school way of beating new school football. It's like old math, beating new technology. Every football team doesn't want to spend money on linebackers and safeties. That's not what they're doing. And they're not set up. They're not drafting that way. Isn't it funny? What's the two positions that Howie Roseman changed his opinions on this offseason? He paid Bond and drafted Campbell. He knows if he doesn't have good linebacker play, they're not good against the run. He saw that in 2023 when they were running the football down their throat at the end of the season last year. He completely changed his mind. He paid him and drafted him. You can't have and he paid the back when he didn't have to. And he gave Juergens an extension. Dude, the two things that he did this offseason, drafting a backer, paying the center, and paying the back. That's how you won the Super Bowl. You won the Super Bowl with that mentality. Great linebacker play. The center was an upgrade to Jason Kelce. And your running back carried the mail home. Other teams in the league are not set up for that. If Hurts cuts down the sacks, he doesn't have to throw more volume. Cut down the sacks. Passing team and the passing game will be more effective and more efficient. And then you're really going to be a tough team to beat. All right. Hey, don't forget my great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in America, with over $30 billion recovered for clients. The #1 reason they're #1 is because they win. That's right. You got thousands of attorneys from coast to coast making sure that they defend you and your family each and every single day. If you're ever injured, please do me a favor and check out my friends at forthepeople.com/big cells or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big cells or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Cell sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
So I'm getting video of Stefon Diggs' boat party with Cardi B. And I'm watching it right now. Oh, my God. That's my kind of... By the way, if you want to see this, you got to go over to my X account at Dan Sileo Show. You got to see this thing. My God. Hey, you know this, okay? Bill Belichick ain't the head football coach any longer. Yeah. Hey, he's not the head football coach. But then again, Bill's got it going on down at UNC right now. So, yeah. I mean, look at this thing. Holy cow. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I'm sure, that'll look good. All right, guys. Guys were absolutely great. Hey, I've said this 3 times to you, and I'm going to try to hold to it here, and I hope Phil Simms does. Phil Simms tomorrow on the program. We may also have the Battle Royale tomorrow as well. So we appreciate everybody. Again, I hope all had a great weekend. Memorial Day weekend this past couple days here, and we appreciate you guys coming back. Tomorrow, I think the media get a chance to go out to watch the Eagles during OTAs. I think there's like 20 teams also involved in OTAs. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. We appreciate you guys. Hit the like button on the way out, and we'll see you on the flip side.